Hello, hello. A very good afternoon to you. Welcome to another live stream with me, 320 Sim Pilot. Great to see you all here. Thank you for coming along. Today we're going to take the JustFlight BAe 146-300. I think this is the first time we've streamed a 300, certainly in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Oh, excuse me. And we're going to take it for a spin over to Belfast from here in Zurich. We are going to be trying out the latest version. That is because JustFlight updated this, what was it, a week or so ago now. They've been quite good with the updates on this aircraft since it released, so we've got quite a few to see. So looking forward to seeing what's improved with the 146. I didn't really have any issues with it in the first place, I must be honest. And as you can see, we're doing another sector for DAN Virtual, the virtual airline run by a few of the members of the community here, which is great fun as always, and a good excuse to get the 146 out in this lovely, lovely DAN livery. So, jumping into the chat, it's great to see you all. It's been a little while, it's been I haven't been able to stream. It's been very busy, so I'm very, very happy to be back, jumping into the sim. Just give me 1 second. Okay, apologies about that. I am back. Just making sure the phone call was nothing super, super important. Right, so, yeah, good to see you. Thanks for joining us. We're streaming on both Twitch and YouTube, as long as all is going well. So jumping onto YouTube, good to see you. Pranshu, Chase, I hope you're doing well. Chickpoint, good to see you. And Lauren V, thanks for coming along and moderating. And yeah, it's been a while. Igloo Foo, good to have you here. Adam, I hope you're doing well. Kelpie, good to see you. Thomas, hello to you. Ed, you're not late at all. Thanks for joining us. Simon Taylor says, I'm actually able to catch you live through the DAN Air 146 in the 80s from Gatwick to Bern. Excellent. So you'll be able to see if it suits your memories of the 146. David is up in Leeds. Good afternoon to you, David. Thanks for joining us. Ralph Caperian, Dave, Marcus, Marshall, Piano Learner, and Red. Great to have you all here. Over on Twitch joining us. Thanks, Lauren V, for moderating over there. Jay Bruven, good to see you as well. Pizza Racer, I hope you're doing well. So, yes, the weather. Let's talk about the weather. I will just manage the chats. There we go. It's Common Sense Gaming. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. So, yeah, this is not the best day to go flying, although you could say it is one of the better days. It means we're probably going to go somewhere nicer than it is here in in Zurich. We're also going to get to head up above the clouds and get a bit of a view of the sun. So I actually, you know, it's one of those rewarding days when you get to take off in the cloud and the rain like this, because inevitably you'll get to see better weather. The only problem is if you're flying a turboprop, you might find yourself stuck at the lower levels, just sort of flying around in the cloud the whole time. But yeah, when you're in the 320 or something, or the 146, it does indeed go high enough, you'll get up above most of that weather and just get to sit in the sun for a bit. And then hopefully, if you fly far enough, as we are today, you'll get to land in nicer weather. I believe the weather in Belfast is going to be better. It's sort of scattered. It's gone more towards broken cloud here in the UK, with a few rain showers around, so not that great. But anyway, I've given us an hour, so we've got 55 minutes now to get this aircraft up and running, which is way more time. You don't ever find airline crews arriving at the airplane an hour before departure. That would be ridiculous. Usually they're just showing up at the briefing room now, so we've got no excuse. We are leaving on time today, so that is 5 UK. I want to be underway, or our bosses over at DAN Virtual will be telling us off. Of course they won't know. It's a very relaxed virtual airline, which is great. So I don't know if anything changed with the visual model. I haven't seen anything in the patch notes, but I've got to say, seeing it in the normally I do all my videos and photo shoots in the sun, so it's quite fun seeing it in the gloom. It does look great, and it's been left with the door open, which the crew probably wouldn't appreciate, because no doubt that means loads of rain's blown in, and the entire front galley floor is just soaked with water. How do you decide who does the walk around in weather like this, says Piano Learner? Well, mostly pilots will show up at work in the briefing room, and they will just say things like, oh, do you have any preference as to which sector you want to fly? Because remember, it'll be one of the pilots flies the sector, and one of them will be pilot monitoring, and then you'll split that evenly. So if we were doing 4 flights today, you'd do 2 and 2. Crucially, that is the moment. If you don't want to do a walk around in the rain, you've got to you've got to come up and say, I've got a preference. I'd like to fly this sector and this sector. Very unusual to do. You'd get a reputation if you did it all the time, I'm sure. But ultimately, if somebody says, do you have a preference, then you're allowed to say you do. But yeah, the more traditional thing to do is everybody says no, and then no one can decide who should fly. And then whoever gets stuck with the sector with the rainy walk around they were the one who didn't think about it hard enough. So it's happened to all of us. But yeah, so it doesn't tend to be done on who's the captain and who's the FO. It's done on who's flying or not flying, as it were. Some airlines will have pilot monitoring do the walk around. Some airlines will have pilot flying do the walk around. That is entirely dependent on the airline you're in. But there we go. So let's jump into the flight deck. Get that going. Let me know how the audio is. So all I've done so far is jump into here, and we're on version 1.6 now, which is the latest update. Horribly gloomy, and our poor passengers are going to have to come out in the rain. I'd flip a coin, says Landing Gear 001. Yeah, flipping a coin is regularly done. A lot of pilots have apps and so on for randomly choosing as well. You've got to remember, if you choose your sector adamantly, you say, yes, I want to fly this sector. I want to land in Belfast. What you're doing is you're committing that landing to your decision, as opposed to leaving it in the hands of fate. So pilots don't like doing that. You're effectively, so if you have a bad landing, you can't, you chose it yourself, you know. Piano Leonard says, I worry 2 Brits would just end up being too polite. Exactly, that is the other thing that happens, and no one decides. So forward stairs, we're on, we've got chocks. Let's plug in the ground power. And let's have a go. Lauren V says, V1 says they play golf with the MTP sometimes to determine PF, PM. Yes, so that was an old one. On the dash, there's a little HSI selector, and what you do is you'd sit down, and whichever way it was pointing would fly that sector. That only worked for the first sector, of course, because after that you'd change it around. It wasn't quite random, but yeah. Warrior Lad, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. We're on VATSIM red thread for today's flight. Indeed. Denite says, isn't this captain sector weather? Yes, exactly. Exactly. Right, let us have a look then. So a few changes in here. Let's see if I can make it work. So this is the sort of page, you get this home page, then you go down to this area. So we've got SimBrief ID, and now it will connect in. Oh, and then I need to start Pegasus. So can anyone from Danet Virtual help me? Is it now? I should know this, I just don't do enough flights. I've got my route loaded in, I've got the Pegasus software, so I'm just going to click start flight. Can I do that now? But anyway, this is the same stuff. So this was all filed by the Virtual Airline software, which is great. Makes my life much easier. Thanks for the follow to Raina. Yeah, it makes my life a lot easier, and it planned the route for me and everything. Now, apparently we have the wrong route, according to Lauren V, so we nearly always have the wrong route. Start Pegasus when you want. Okay, clicking start. As long as it's before push and engine start. Excellent. So it seems to have connected. That's good news. Departing from stand Alpha 15. We are indeed. And I think there is a controller online here, which is unusual, but good news for us. No, they've gone offline. No surprise. Well, we're not going to be ready in 2 minutes anyway. Good. So there we go. We've got our information. I am using the FMS system today because, yeah, we've done lots of VOR navigating with this. So there we go. There is the route. I don't think there's a way to load that in, but that's it. We've got our map where we are sitting in the drizzle in Zurich, and we can search for Zurich airports. This is all pretty handy, and let's start with taxi chart, airports. This is something I should always do before the stream, and yet consistently forget. So we're actually on the south side of dock, so we are here. I said 15. Doesn't look like it is there. It could be old charts. But regardless, let's get the airplane powered up, and then we'll work out the charts on which departure we actually want to fly. And then, yeah, good. Okay, aircraft-wise, you have to click open, and we're going to import OFP fuel. So that gives us 89 passengers, gross weight 43 tons with 9.2 tons of fuel. What I'm going to do is not rely on that because it would be very embarrassing. I'm going to check my OFP, which, remember, is available in here. We wanted a block fuel figure of, there's an output there, 9.2 tons. So that has worked, which is good news. Good news indeed. Oh, actually, let's check the weight. So we should have a zero fuel weight of, oh, we were heavy, 33.6 tons. Wow, we are really heavy. 33.6 tons. So yeah, it all works pretty good. I do like that a lot. So that, it should all be live information. So that's now done. Great. Okay, let's get the airplane powered up while our friend does the walk around, because they want to come back and find that the hot cup of tea is available to them. Otherwise, it'd be pretty miserable after that. Controllers was on for over 8 hours. Fair enough, they logged off. Yes, I think that is fair enough indeed. Okay, so give the altitude knob a spin as hard as you can. Higher number gets your way. But that's the problem, is that even if you knew who we need in most UK airlines, you need it to be totally random. It's not a case of, because you're not allowed a preference, basically. Right, landing gear lever. Let's go. Tick is down, and it's down on my hardware. Weather radar is off, 15 degrees up. Well, we know the weather radar isn't working, sadly, today. This would be a day where you'd want it to work. But where is the radar? Where is the radar on this one? It's over there. But anyway, that is... You tilt it up so that it's ready for the takeoff, but it is turned off anyway. Transponder standby. That's down here. That is set to standby. Thanks for the subscription. Air brakes and flaps are in and up, and up on there. No smoking signs on. So overhead panel, please. Oh, I've got to remember the key commands. I will get used to it, I promise. There we go. Right, no smoking signs on. Nav lights high int. Nav lights, nav lights, nav lights. Sorry you can't see much. I'll get the lights on soon. High int. Battery 1 and 2 on, voltage checked. So you can see down here we already have the external power. Let me shrink this down a bit. There we go. So we have the external power available. Battery, we can check the voltage by rotating this. There we go. 28 volts. 28 volts, looking good. So batteries can come on. I do like this airplane. Love the integrated checklist. It's such a good system. Parking brake yellow and park. So that's what it should be by default. It is on the yellow system and it is pulled in the park position. Master switches all on. So they are way up here. Let's put that over there. So yaw damper masters, AP master, avionics master, all on. Ground ignition as required. So I'm going to leave it on both. What does it say actually? Ground ignition. So A or B or both of cold starting. This is probably cold starting. Anti-skid can come on. Lift spoilers, yellow and green, both on. Yellow and green on. More than 7 hours. Yeah, that is a long time to be to be running a VATSIM controller. Both on. AC, DC, both auto. That is over here. Where's the bus tie? Oh no, it's down here. Bus tie, AC and DC both to auto. Standby inverter to ARM. Standby generator ARM. Already in case we need it. We want off reset for both generator 1 and 4, which they are. Galley shed switch should be set to galley. So what that's saying is, and this is an Airbus thing, that even that button, we have we have a button called the galley, or yeah, galley, and then it will say galley shed. It's just telling us that they are going to either shed and not use the galley power, or you've got it turned on. So it's effectively off and on for the galley, but it's you've got it on or you're shedding the power. You're not using it anymore. Jonathan Goodhauser, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for joining us today. We are just working through our startup. So APU generator can come on. That is down here. On. Fuel pumps left inner has to come on. That's so that the APU gets power. Fire handles are all in up there. And then you would do the... Oh, it's a long old starting checklist, this one. Ground test fire times 5 and external. Let's see if we can find that. So, ground test. Where's the fire? I think do you press it? I'm too nervous to press it if that's wrong. Because there's 4 and then there's the 5th one, which would be the APU fire. There you go. We found that one. Engine APU extinguishers. You can get the lights to work. Yeah, okay. We'll say that's done. Lauren B says, I go nuts after 6 hours on the ground. There you go. Frank says, about to hop on with you 320 Sim Pilot. Look for Southwest 737 in Zurich. Excellent. Look forward to seeing them there. APU start. This is super easy. I'm literally going to press start. RPM rising. It says low pressure oil, but that will clear as it powers up, and it would say low fuel pressure if this pump wasn't on. We'll wait for that to stabilize. There it is. Goodness me, it's going to take me a while. Graham says, for as much as I love the Airbus, you can't be old school British designed aircraft. Just love this aircraft. Well, so much of this transfers into the Airbus, but these rocker switches never did. These were obviously considered a bad idea subsequently. But yeah, the yellow-green systems, lots of these button names, quite recognisable. That's the APU power available. The APU gen is online. Let's get rid of the external power. We never used it anyway. We were sat on battery. Brilliant. Oh, well, there we go. So that's stable. APU air and packs on. So APU air can come on. And let's have pack 1 and pack 2. Just to provide a bit of warm air. Now that our colleague who's been out in the rain will want to get back. If you get back onto an airplane and the bleed air isn't on, you don't dry. You're just sat there in a damp uniform. But if the bleed air's on, it doesn't take long actually. So they'll come back and they'll probably turn up all the temperatures selfishly after being all freezing wet and miserable. Thanks to 11 Clark M for the £1.79 super chat. Really appreciate it. 11 Clark M says, who dims the A320 cabin during takeoffs, landings, and how? That is done by the cabin crew in the cabin on their control panel. Nothing to do with us. So yeah, thank you very much for your very kind super chat, 11 Clark M, and I hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, that dimming is not done by the pilots. So landing gear indicators, let's check that's come to life. 3 greens, there they are. Master warning system, test and norm. So that is this button here. Oh, there it is, all working. Overhead annunciators tested and norm. Yes, cabin emergency lights arm, that's down here. No, there's flight deck emergency lights. No, cabin emergency lights are higher up. Cabin emergency lights, right? Arm, there we go. Right, let's get rid of the master warning. I do remember how to do this, I promise. Pull, there we go. And we'll click that. Goods. Alpha 15, Frank. That's the gate I'm at. Cabin emergency lights are now armed. Ground tests. We'll say we've done all of that. DC pump on. So now we're going to fiddle with the hydraulic systems. Oh, I'm going to keep doing that. Which are up here on the upper overhead panel. So I love doing this. It's just a great demonstration of hydraulics. So DC pump on. Yellow brake pressure rise check off. So DC pump on. The DC pump powers the yellow system. So I'm expecting to see the yellow pressure rise. On. Yellow brake pressure rise checked off. Why is that not working? I was so proud of that. This does normally work, which suggests that I've done something wrong somewhere else along the line. Test the DC pump. It's on the yellow system, so it should just turn on and power it. So have we not got electrical power? AP power is available. APU gen is online. So we've got all the power we should need. Can the observer in the flight deck speak to ATC, or are they there to watch Copilot? No, they usually have a headset that they can use, the Darzan, if they want to. Oh, so it's just talking about the brake pressure, is it? So that would just be down there. There it is. Brake pressure. I thought it would power this gauge. Obviously not. Because it should provide pressure to the system. Interesting. We'll see how this goes. AC pump and PTU. So let's turn on the PTU and let's put the AC pump on. There we go. So that is providing pressure into the yellow system. So it's just our DC pump, concerningly. But that one's working. And then the PTU is transferring that into the green system. On yellow and green pressure rise checked off. So I'm going to leave PTU off. And that's AC pump off. Flight deck emergency lights arm, they're down there, and armed. Yaw dampers both on. So that, confusingly, is not on the overhead panel. That's down there. Yaw damper 1 and 2 on. Oxygen mask 100% and flow checked. Let's do a little test. There we go. Oxygen main valve on. That is over there. Ooh, I didn't want the co-pilot. Sounds terrible, but that is just true. There we go. Valves are on. Good. 4-star checklist. It's that easy. Departure briefing complete. VHF radios. We're going to do brake pressure check above 2,500 psi. We've got 3,000 psi. Just going to tick through this one. Hydraulics are going to be all off. Hydraulics are off, 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 off. Good. Fuel sensor transfer to auto. That is going to auto. We do have fuel in the center there. Ice detect on. this should be locked in position. So that goes on, and then we lock it closed. Fasten seatbelt signs can go on because we're fueled up. Fuel quantity checked. We wanted 9.3, and there we have it. 3.5, 3.5. So that's 7, 8, 9. Over 3.5. So all good. Let's get some lights on. It's definitely more lights than most in this airplane. It's quite remarkable. I think that's in airplane settings. We can get rid of that co-pilot. Nope. How do I do that? I don't know. How strange. Anyway, let's not stay on that page because we know that could be a problem. Good. So fuel quantity checked, flight data recorder, not worried about that, altimeters set and cross-checked. We're going to cheat, we're going to press B, there you go, 1014. We've reset that system, and then we're going to set up the bugs and check the doors are closed. So I'll just leave that there. That's the last thing we need to do. Let's just check there's no controller online, there's no weather. No, fine. So let's get rid of... Oh. What is that pressing? Oh, I don't want to know what I've just done. Where is the... There's a click spot for that. Click spot for that one. I thought it was down here. Strange. Don't know. Still will manage with the yoke. It's not too obstructive. They've carefully got it just out of the way. Right. So, flight plan wise, we are planned to go out via top left of the pedal, yoke pedal adjusts. Behind. Ah, there it is. Thank you very much. Yes, that was right. No, I do remember. That's not changed. That's just me forgetting things. So, routing wise, leaving Zurich from Vebit. So that is our planned departure. Let's try and get a weather. So I'm going to cheat then, and I'm going to use this little nifty feature, which I only recently discovered in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Look at that. It just drops it in there for you. Really, really handy. So, and that's giving us 250 at 7. So that's easy for which runway we're going to use. 16 degrees, QNH 1014, which we have set. Heavy showers of rain, scattered tower and cumulus. So this is yeah, it's fun enough, not untypical for Zurich weather at this time of year. No problem, that's fine. What we're going to do then is go to our charts. We're going to depart from the westerly facing runway in this case because it's varying around but mostly staying westerly. So that seems pretty reasonable to us, and we're going out via Vebit. So let's find which Vebit's going to be. It's runway 32. Runway 16. Runway 28. That's the one. So straight out, above 5,000, left turn, head to Brego, and then follow those points out. So that is the Vebit 4 Whiskey. Turn on Copilot, click gear on the airplane page. Airplane page. Get it gear. Ah, thank you very much. You're absolutely right. Brilliant. Gone. Lovely. Thank you very much. Right. Into our ever favourite feature of the FMS. So we're all up to date. That's good. That's a relief. Let's see if I can remember how to do anything in here. Next. Good. So is there a way to download this from weather? Can I download my flight plan from SimBrief in here? Does anyone know? Smells like Teen Spirit says, I usually fly the 146 without the FMS. Feels more old school. Yeah, absolutely. I usually do this just for the sake of getting more reasonable routes other than VOR to VOR, but I do like flying without it as well. I was just curious whether this would allow me to download a route. Don't think it will though. Page 2 of index. Okay, let's give that a go. IDX. Next. Route menu. Flight plan recall game. Route menu, go to legs. Oh. SB equals sim brief. Ah. Oh, it needs my ID. Okay, no worries. Flight plan sync. Do I want that on? Let's try it on. Okay, and now we're going to go back to IDX. Next. Route. Sim brief. There we go. Thank you very much. As ever, you guys are the masters. Look at it go. Peter says the DC pump doesn't supply the main yellow system. There we go. Don't know why I thought it did. I'm sure I've seen something like that work. Lima 10 direct. So this is heading up through the UK. Trent. That's going to be not North 46. That's going to be North 53, I would imagine. It only supplies the emergency brakes and gear down. Thanks, Peter. There you go. Duffy. Oh, that's a bit trickier. Let me just check according to our flight plan which one we're meant to go via. Duffy. Which is our last point, I think. 5430. Yeah, it's that one. Execute, please. Look at that. Down there, 222. There's our route. I don't think we need to put any weights in. We're departing from 28. I already knew that, which is great news. And we're going for the Fort Whiskey. There it is. Thanks, Whit, for the subscription. Execute that. Good. I think that's all we need to do, isn't it? It's quite simple. Because things like performance and so on, we're not going to use. We've got the legs in there. We're just going to use it for the RNAV. So there's our departure out by 002 Brego. And then on it goes. Leg winds. Does it have winds loaded in? Not sure it does that. But yeah, there it is. And then we can scroll through the route. And there it is. All connected. Makes sense. Lovely. So that's that done. We're doing an RNAV departure. So we're going to climb above 5,000, then 6,000, and ultimately 7,000 is where we're going to stop. Initial climb clearance, though, is 5,000, so that's going to be our stopping point. It does have a D2.3 on the KLO, and then a radial. So we're going to set that up. We'd be very lazy not to. Let's just turn on some more lights. There we go. And I think there's some lights down here I want on. Yes. Good. So, let us turn on the radio. We're going to put 5,000 feet in the window. Love that. That's great. An arm might not work yet until we got a few more things in. So 5,000 feet. We're taking the KLO, which is 11485. So let's tune that in. So we've got to turn that on and on. And what was it called? 114.85. How are we doing for time? We've got half an hour. This is good. 11485. It is RNAV, so you can't actually just start navigating using radio nav aids, but it's going to give us better situational awareness. Flight director bars on. Let's check they're working. Yeah, all looking good. Might lower the brightness of some of those. There we go. Sensible QNH, pitch and roll, nav 1, that's fine. I'm not going to use those initially. Good, so course, initial course. So taking off, 241 is what we're going to intercept. Oh, I just say will radio 052. So 2.3, make our left turn and intercept the 232 towards Brego. So let's put that in then on this side. Let's have 232. And we'll have Will 1169 tuned. Oh. Already forgotten. It's amazing. It's just straight out of my head. Instantly forget. Thanks, the Jamic, for the subscription. 1169. There it is. Good. Alright then, so that's something vaguely useful. Now what we're going to do is set up our performance. So, let's power on this computer. Let it run its tests. Temperature on the ground outside, 16 degrees, so not far off. Thanks, Mikey, for the follow. So, oh, it's got it there, 16 degrees, look at that. And then I'm going to press takeoff. And I did a whole load of research on this. Did I do it for the last stream where I checked what we're supposed to do? I'm really annoyed at myself now. I have a whole description of what we're supposed to be doing. Ethan Master, are we going to do the NDB arrival into Aldergrove? Maybe we will. Yeah, I'll have a look at that en route. We've got a bit of time en route to decide how to do that. But, yeah, TGT of 820, and then we are going to set those bugs. Taking up 43 tons, and let's do a 24 degrees flat takeoff. There we go. We should set all the bugs accordingly. VR 127. Blitzball says, this is a nice plane. I really like it. Have a great flight. Hope you're all fine. Greetings from Belgium. Greetings to you. Thanks for joining us. That is in, and then we have... I don't think we need to do much for the cabin pressurization. So we're taking off 93.7 M1, which is all we want. Great. I don't want to make life too difficult. We've done our boarding. Let's close up outside. So get rid of ground power. Ah, yes, the pushback. I don't think there's a way to do that there. Unless we do the old Microsoft Flight Simulator way. So we'll do that. So let's leave the chocks in for now, close up the stairs, and then the forward passengers. Hopefully that's working. Can't see, sadly. There is a criteria to make that work. Otherwise the stairs won't close. What was it? Does anyone remember that? 2 Point says, I'm flying next week to Budapest again. Let's hope this time I'll have enough time to visit the museum. Oh, the aviation museum at Budapest Airport's incredible. Really, really different sort of stuff. Yeah. You'll enjoy that. Ah, that's annoying. I do know. Oh, I have done this before. Feels like yesterday. I thought we streamed this a long time ago. Was it more recent than I'm thinking? Anyway, we've done TMS, N1, and speed bugs. That's it. Hydraulic AC pumps. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, it can't close. There we go. Thank you. That reminds me, just like the MD-80. Doors and equipment closed and removed. There we go. Put that back to off.
Cabin crew, arm doors and cross check.
There are the doors. Next is engine starting. So let's just check exactly where we are on the charts, and then we'll get going. And then we'll have made it 25 minutes early. I don't know if that's going to mark us down. We might do. So we can't actually favourite charts as far as I'm aware. But what I can do is just check the taxi. Visual airport briefing. Airport. There we go. So that's where we are. Oh, we are facing south. Okay. I got that wrong then. So we're going to push back straight and then head out here for runway 28 departure. Pretty straightforward. Let's do our little usual sort of flow. So thrust levers are closed. Transponder is going to go to transponder. We are going to make sure that the windows are closed and closed. Let's get our beacon on. Seatbelt signs are on over there. Where's the beacon? Can't be lazy. Gotta go and do it. Beacon on. And we are ready to go. Jeffrey, thanks for the subscription. And Pol9, thanks so much for €50 super chat. Pol9, far too generous. Thank you. Really, really appreciate it. As ever, you supported the channel way too much. You're amazing. Thanks so much, Pol9. That's a new sticker. So, yeah, very nice. Thank you so much for coming along. Thank you for being far too generous. Really, very kind of you. Thank you, Pol9. Really, really appreciate it. And I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you here today. So, hopefully the stream doesn't disappoint. Let's get going. So, I'm going to... At the risk of my bosses telling me off, we're going to head away early. We've got everyone on board, as long as we don't leave them behind. And then, I'm going to see if I can get a tug to push us back. That's not working. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so thank you so much, Pol9. Way too generous. Very kind of you, and hope you're doing very well. Thanks for joining us today. Yeah, that's it. We're underway. We're actually a bit early. I mean, I cheated a bit by setting the departure time so far back, but screen heat selected off. Okay, we'll sort that out shortly. Right, checklist then. So beacon on. PAX and APU air are going to go off, and that is because we need... I don't actually know why you couldn't have those on for this aircraft. There you go. PAX and APU air off. Engine anti-ice all goes on. This is to do with helping prevent an engine stall. Fuel pumps all on. TMS actually has to go off for start. I'm assuming that is in case of something actually accidentally powering on. So TMS is off. Engine start power norm. Let's put this down here. Start power to norm in the middle there. Engine master switch coming on. Oh no, not start master, sorry. Engine start master on. Yeah, no, that's right. And then we're going to start engine number 4. Engine start switch goes to start. If I could see it. There we go. 10% on the N2 and we can add fuel. And that is going to be repeated many times over. N1, N2's over, so very straightforward. Supply fuel. There's the RPM, N2 spooling up, fuel flow is increasing, TGT's rising. Looks very good to me. Now let's not get this wrong. We're pushing back very slowly. Ah, I know why. It's the classic, the eternal issue of flight sims is remembering to take the shocks out. Something, of course, we don't have to do in the real aircraft. Oh, mic off, but there we go. So all doing well. Engine number 3. Parking brake is set. Tug goes away. Thanks for joining us, to Hayden. Good to see you. And Aviation Guy. Indeed, I did mute myself. Oh dear. It's been a while. I'm totally out of practice of streaming. That's looking good. Number 2. Start. I don't know if the 146 was still around today. Would it do reduced engine taxi out? I feel like it would. We are very heavy today though. 43 tons. That is a serious weight. Adding fuel. Great point there from Ethermaster. Make sure we stick it into RNAV. So that would be this swaps over to RNAV to give us our first leg, because we are flying an RNAV departure. We'll do it on both sides. Don't think that will arm unless we have the flight directors on. I think that's why that's missing. Okay, and finally then engine number 1. Oh, here's the pressurization. So it's set to auto. That's good. So do I need to set an altitude on here? It's funny, a lot of this reminds me of the MD-80. That's what mostly reminds me of. So we're planning to cruise up at 32,000. But it doesn't let me go that high. I'm sure we had to do something with that last time. This is terrible. I should know way more. Let's add fuel to that engine. By the way, we'll talk about en route. That's looking good. We've got RV2. 127 is our rotate. Now we're going for flat 24 takeoff. Oh, thanks, Gio. Great spot. There we go. Cheers. Good, that's stabilizing. That can go off, that can go off. Let's do the checklist because I will forget everything otherwise. So that's all done. After start checklist, here we go. Right, start power to norm, start selector master, both off. Engine anti-ice, not required, it's warm out there. Brake fans, go to auto. They are hidden up here for some reason, but there they are, auto. Engine 2 and 3 hydraulic pumps on. AC pump and PTU auto and on. Heaters all on. That's about these electric heaters down here. APU air packs. Let's have APU air. I'm going to use the APU for the takeoff. So I'll let it supply air like that. Engine air off. We'll leave it off for takeoff. TMS on. And put it in the right mode. So TMS, power on, put it to takeoff. Transponder, TA as required. I'll do that when we get out to the runway. Taxi lights on. So here we go. They've adjusted some of the lighting on the outside. We're going to have not landing lights, runway lights, and taxi lights. There we go. Thank you again, Pole9, for the very kind donation. Okay, taxi lights on. Brakes tested on initial roll. We'll do that. And that's done. Next is before takeoff. So we'll do that as we get a bit closer out to the runway. There you go. All the lights are done properly. What we do need to do is set the flaps. It does surprise me how many checklists don't include that at this point. So I'm going to make a hard left turn. That's the runway we're departing from. So we'll take this route here. So let's put the flaps up first. And thank you to Stefan for the very kind €5 super chat. Really appreciate it. Stephen says, after bringing A320 sim videos for 2 months, seeing you starting up this plane with 75 switches almost gives me a panic attack. Thank you so much to Stefan for the very kind super chat. Really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us. Indeed, the only reason I'm willing to stream this today at a bit of a last minute stream was because I've done it before several times on the channel, and it's surprising me actually. I'm a bit disappointed how much I've forgotten. I thought I was going to be a bit better off than I am. So yeah, it is quite a beast, this airplane, no doubt about it. So thank you so much for the very kind donation. Really appreciate it, Stefan. Thanks for joining us today. Right. Now I'm annoyed at myself because the flight data recorder does need something to be done. Oh, is it park brake related? Let's go. Brakes released. Yes, it's park brake related. There we go. Heavy, heavy. I'm going to make the turn, and then I'll do the brake check on the other side. I love the 300. I think it's a really nicely balanced looking aeroplane. As always is the case, the longest version is nearly always everyone's favourite, except for the Dash 8 and possibly the 340. Although we know I like, and a lot of you like 340 like that. Jay Bavang says, do your in real life colleagues watch your streams? Universally, almost everyone, the answer to that is no. Just some friends. Indeed, this aircraft, there is a version included, which is used by the Royal Flight. There are a lot of vehicles in Zurich today trying to get in our way. It's so heavy, taking a serious bit of thrust. We are at 1,300 feet, which isn't that high, so that's probably not too much of a density altitude, and the temperature's quite low. But it's just we are running it close to the max weights here. Yes, of course. So we've got flaps out, as we said, at 24, and then we click on the... Now we can click on it again. There we go, and it's adjusted. I think on approach, you can pre-select it. Now, I'm trying to remember how to do that. There was a way. I think it adjusted to whichever one you actually clicked on. Ethan Master says, I prefer the 200 variant myself. There you go, fair enough. I think there's a special trim setting in the 300 designed to help out. Let's just check we're not going to run into anyone. Designed to help out with some of the flap trim changes in this version. I do like the largest version of the 7.4, indeed. We can just look away and then we don't see any vehicles issued. Well, exactly. Jonathan says the 737-900 is the longest 7.3, but the 800 is the most popular. True. But I'm talking in terms of what pilots like and what we like the look of, as opposed to actual what the airline's like. Because I know the 340-600 was a complete failure.
432,
Hayden, thank you so much.
Gate Alpha 8 for runway 16. Sorry.
Hayden, thank you so much for your £1.46 super chat. Really appreciate it. Indeed, I see what you did there. So thank you so much. Very kind of you, Hayden. Thanks for joining us today, and I hope you're doing very well. Great to see you, and thanks for spotting my mistake in the stream departure time.
Pushback, gate Alpha 15.
Oh yeah, so I think what happened there, our aeroplane was so small that somebody was just parked on top of us and never saw us.
Southwest 1208, holding pushback gate Alpha 13 to then taxiing runway 28.
Oh, there's quite a lot of people moving. Zurich traffic down there 222, taxiing for departure runway 28. Just going to let them know that we are going to use runway 28 momentarily, just so people think to check. We've got a colleague over there doing the same thing. Lauren V says Q400 is absolutely the best looking dash. 737-800 is most people's favourite over the 900. Oh, there you go. Fair enough. And Jonathan says, I'd say the 800 looks better than the 900. Okay, so people do prefer the look of the 800. There you go. Thanks, Hayden, again. Thanks to Stefan for the very kind super chats. And Pole 9, of course. Right, let's do a few things that I would probably do. Let's do a brake check. Yes, that's all good. Let's do our flight controls. No real movement indication in the flight deck. What we're doing is just making sure they are full and free. A bit more like you do in general aviation. Oh, it's just ground to a halt. It's not going to taxi at idle. Right, let's see. Probably should put the generators on. Don't know why that hasn't happened yet. That could have got embarrassing when I turned off the APU. So, before takeoff, brakes checked, yellow, flaps checked and checked, flight instruments checked, flight directors on as required. So we're going to go with them off. Trim is set. Config tested. Let's do that. Yep. Continuous ignition. I think I will do continuous ignition A and B because of the miserable weather. Probably I wouldn't in the air. I definitely wouldn't in the Airbus. Cabin secured. Weather radar doesn't work. Landing strobe lights, they're all going to go on as we enter the runway. So for takeoff, we're going to rotate. It's about 12.5 degrees initially, and then we'll see where it takes us. Rotating at 127, climbing away at 132 and a bit, which is what we get our bug set to on there. And then as we get above 1,000 feet, we're going to bring the thrust back to our MCT thrust. And then we can accelerate the aircraft's no auto throttle system, just our TMS system. And we got it in RNAV, so expecting to climb. Let's go to our charts, really, that's what we need. We're going to go to Alpha 1 for departure. And we said the Vebit for whiskey. Glad I wrote it down. There it is. Yeah, we're going to climb to 5,000 feet initially, expecting a bit of a left turn. So 2.3 miles left to intercept the radial. If the RNAV all fails, I can have the option to swap over onto 1169. In fact, let's swap that over now.
Traffic, Swiss 878 Delta.
Actually, no, we'll swap it over in the air. So, yeah, we'll straight ahead to 2.3 and then make that left turn. What speed did you taxi at? Well, we're going at 10 knots at the moment. I was going to say 3 seems a bit slow. No more than, typically, most airlines say 30 in a straight line. 15 for turns, 10 for tight turns, and certainly in the wet, probably a tight turn, you'd be below 10 knots. 30 in a straight line would be a typical maximum. Now, can we get a nice cabin view? I think we can. There we go. Thank you, Kelpie, for the very kind $10 super chat. Really appreciate it, Kelpie. Kelpie says, this is probably not an answer for this question, but what inspired your channel's colours? Just thought they look cool. Is there some meaning behind them? Kelpie, thanks so much. Really, really appreciate the donation. Thank you for joining us today. The channel colours, no, I have been asked, are they related to managed and selected modes in the Airbus, which are blue and magenta? And I wish I could say they were, but they aren't. They are just a colour scheme that I liked. I liked putting those two colours together. I've done it before in non-YouTube related things in my life, and I thought it would look good, and I thought the pink would be quite striking if you're going for a branding style thing. I thought it would not only look quite nice, look quite pleasant on the eye. I'm sure people disagree entirely with that statement, but yeah. So, but I'm quite happy to retrospectively apply the Airbus selected and managed modes to that colour scheme. I think why not? I think it was Matteo pointed it out a long time ago. But thanks so much, Kelpie, for the $10 donation. Really appreciate it. So here we are at the holding points. So I think we briefed our takeoff. Airplane's all set up and ready to go. Let us finish off this checklist. So all the lights are going to come on, and I might even put my wipers on. Doesn't wow, that is not particularly effective, but depends how heavy the rain is.
Zurich traffic.
TMS on takeoff mode. Flight controls unlocked and free. Master warning checks. Next is after takeoff, so that's all good. Zurich traffic, down air 222, taking off runway 28 on a westerly departure. Clear on the approach, clear out there. Not heard anyone on final. We've given it a bit of time. We just announced that we're taking off runway 28. Manta needs to be based out of the 1980s Miami, says Igloo Foo. Yes, so that's hence AC455's 80s style livery, which fits in that bell. Thank you again, Kelper. Very kind, really. Sorry, Kelpie, for the donation. Really appreciate it. And of course, Hayden, Stefan. Come on, airplane, you can do it. I've told them we're going now. That didn't sound good. All the engines are still running. No, the brake hadn't released. Afternoon, the Isaac. Tuning in after a 7-hour transatlantic flight in the sim. Now time to relax. Indeed, yeah. Just soak it in. Watch me embarrass myself. Come on, airplane. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Oh, there's actually lightning out there. Yeah, the weather radar would be fun. I complain if I have a weather radar on the screens in the Airbus, the older style screens. You can't see them very well. Can't imagine having to use a completely separate screen, because on here you can't see your nav line running through it, whereas on the Airbus we have the luxury of having a green line that runs through the radar. So the pilot who did the walk around, our FO, is probably just about starting to dry off now, so they'll be getting in a better mood by this point as they realise, you know, we've left early, they're going to be home early, this is all looking good. Down Air 222 taking off runway 28 at Zurich. Right, let's not hold them up anymore, let's go.
Swiss Air 432 holding short 28.
There we go, perfect. Engine stabilising. And let's go. So hopefully that's far enough forward for the TMS to take over. There it is, 93.7 for the power. Airspeed is alive. Bit breezy from the left. I've gone for only 2 stages of flap in order to try and give us a bit of a better climb performance when we're in the air, because this runway actually has quite a good hill on the other end, so I don't want us to fly straight into that. There's a car crossing the runway, and there is V1 rotate. Look at that. We are heavy. Positive climb. Gear up. Doing these sorts of takeoffs in the real aircraft is actually, it's really quite fun when you're pushing the performance a bit. Trying to hold it about 12.5. We're getting bumped around by the hills up there. Straight ahead to 2.3, and then I'm expecting to see our little yellow needle make a left turn. Airborne before 1 hour. Yeah, we've done really well. Very happy about that. Again, I constructed that situation by cheating. Keep climbing, please. 12.5 degrees is actually the angle, or the pitch angle you end up roughly in a 320 with an engine failure, so it's quite low.
Southwest for taxiing to runway 28.
Ah, we don't have the DME visible because we're in RNAV, so we're going to have to just trust it here. Let's go. Flight director's on. I'm going to arm the altitude and LNAV. And there we go. It's making its left turn, which seems reasonable to me. We do have the needles down there, so 2.4 we've just passed, so it makes sense to turn about here. (3,700 feet). 5,000 feet comes up quicker than you might imagine.
Zurich
Let's get
traffic.
the autopilot on.
432 crossing runway 28 for Bravo.
1,000 feet to go. I didn't mean to turn the co-pilot voice off. I will check that. Yeah, you're right. It should have said rotate. It normally does. So we're now heading there. Wipers definitely off by now. I'm sure they're just as loud and annoying as they are in the Airbus. Off. There we go. It's got out arms, so that's looking good. Speed's accelerating. Above 160. So yeah, the flat retraction speeds. I don't know what they are here. So we've got 188, 198. Oof. So clean speed is about 200 knots, it seems. So let's bring them in to 18. I think that would be safe. Okay, above 5,000, then 6,000s. And then later on 7,000. Well, let's get these flaps in. Here we go. Above arm in clean. Flaps coming to 0. Up to 7,000 feet. And then we'll go for IS. It's not armed. Must arm. And there it is. Out armed. Love that sound effect. Even that's going to be too fast though. So let's get this under control. Let's do a bit of vertical speeds. And it should just, well no, that's not going to work. I need to sync it. So let's lower that vertical speed down a bit. You can actually assign sync to a different button now. There we go, about 1,200 feet a minute will do. So you can hold it instead of just toggling it like I'm doing here. Because toggling it isn't quite realistic.
Holding short runway 28, preparing for takeoff.
250 knots, we're passing, so power's coming back. Let's put MCT in. That's very much out of sequence, I'm sure. Horrible weather. After takeoff checklist landing gear is up, lights out. Flaps up. TMS sync, so we can now sync it actually. And then you target TG of 820, I believe. Let's start pressurizing, so engine air can come on. Packs will stay on, APU air going off. Next is the climb checklist. Almost 300 knots, that's a little bit fast. Good, so we're climbing to 32,000 feet. No controller, let's go. So I'm just going to put 32 in there. Let's get back to 250 knots. Flight's about 2 hours from when we're underway. Oh, we haven't done the overlay. It had to happen. Something had to go missing. Apologies.
Southwest runway taking off runway 28.
Okay, let's climb. So, out arm, IS. Get that power on. Targeting a TGT of 820, and I've totally forgotten how to do that. Somewhere there. Jonathan says, at least Microsoft Flight Simulator is spot on for the weather in Switzerland. Yes, yeah, this is very classic. Good, so we're climbing. TGT is about 820, that's looking good, and it's all synchronized. How miserable. Not much of a view yet. I'm looking forward to getting out of this. Thanks for the follow to Steve. Thanks again, Kevin, for your donation. Yeah, what's the temperature outside? Let's check with pressurizing actually. No, it doesn't tell me, does it? It's down here. So, cabin is climbing about 500 feet per minute. Differential pressure is about 2. Current altitude of the cabin about 4,500 feet. So the differential pressure I want to see increasing. Outside air temperature, it's still positive. Still positive. Hence the rain, I suppose. Let's run the climb checklist. So altimeters, let's set them to standards. That's a very good point. 1013, 1013. So they are set. P2 and AC pump can now go off. Those are just there for a backup. So off, off. Both hydraulic systems powering themselves. Again, Airbus automatic. P2 is entirely automatic. It's great. APU stop. We've definitely swapped over to the actual engine generators, so we can go to stop. Fasten seatbelts, I'm definitely leaving those on for now. Lights as required, so we can get rid of our nose lights there and our runway exit lights, and that's it. Next is the descent. Excellent stuff. So, we're heading off the end of the SID. Let's have a look at our map. Oh. APU, yeah, we turned it off. That's fine. That's gone. Now, I don't know if there's any sort of VNAV, but we're going to Danzig. 5.8 miles away, that all makes sense. I don't know if we could put input wind anywhere. Certainly we haven't. Victor Tango, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope it's great to have you join us today. Thanks for coming along. Come on, let's get out of this mess. We're into anti-icing territory, so that's going on. The last thing I want on one of these is that not to work. I'm not going to put the wing anti-ice on. We've got the ice detector on, so it should tell us if we pick up ice. But the engine anti-ice we put on preemptively, I'm assuming. Doing about 1,500 feet per minute, that's okay. It's because we're climbing at quite a high speed. I'm sure I've got these speeds wrong.
Zurich traffic, Swiss Air 432 to
Richard Ray says, have you tried flying the Dark Star already? Indeed we have. We flew it on a Twitch stream in the Air 2000 livery Paddy kindly made for it. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I actually think the Dark Star was a really nice addition. It's way better than I thought it would be. It feels like an actual machine. It flies quite nicely. And it's got that fun, slightly ridiculous way of going supersonic, but still. Paris controllers on. I wonder if there's anything to say about your route. I doubt Paris will care. I hope. Yeah, Lauren V reckons we could get in trouble as we get to Belfast, which wouldn't surprise me. It's quite hard to plan these routes, it seems, without getting in trouble, especially for me, when you're lazy like me and you just let everything automated do it. So this is getting into serious icing territory now. It's just below 0 degrees outside, lots of rain in the air that's going to hit the airplane and freeze up. Quite a quite a long route today. Like I say, just over 2 hours flight time. I think it's actually a bit quicker. Sorry, a bit longer. 2 hours 15. It's a really long flight. That's why I wanted to get away early. Supposed to cruise at Mach 7. I'm going to be pushing it as fast as we can. We should have plenty of extra fuel today because I loaded on 2 tons to enable us to go as fast as we fancy. Says flew the Phoenix from Amsterdam to Hamburg yesterday. Lovely route along the coast. Very nice. Yeah. How are you enjoying the Phoenix? 1903 says flew from Barcelona to Jersey over France on Sunday, and we were weaving around storms in the north of France with wild seeing columns of flashing clouds. Yes, isolated thunderstorms at night are fine. Flying around in weather like this with thunderstorms is not so fun. But when you've just got an isolated storm out there... Oh, here we go. Ice detected. So this is going to really wreck our climb performance. Outer wing anti-ice, inner wing anti-ice, tail anti-ice. How are we doing? Bump up the TGT. Oh, not much though. Got 1,000 feet per minute. It's okay. That's okay. Yeah. So in this sort of weather, you're relying on your weather radar, and again, it's fine on the Airbus where we have a screen and then a green line that goes through it, and we can actually see exactly. You can tell if the weather's next to a waypoint or whatever. Whereas with this system, when you just come down here, it's not going to be quite so good. Sadly, I don't think this is coming. I mean, how is Microsoft Flight Simulator doing on this? Is there any hope that this is coming soon? Or is it like the replay tool? Jonathan says you can divert to Geneva. It's sunny now. Thanks, Jonathan. It's just over our left hand side, isn't it? That's Bern. There's Geneva there. Next sim update for the weather. Okay, hopefully that's it. Sim update 10 comes in August. Okay, fingers crossed. It's quite a way away. The APIs for weather is in place, I think, says Jay Bang. It will come soon, at least. Soon. Okay, I really hope so. I really hope it works well. It's a very exciting idea. Yeah, it's a big part of flying in this sort of a day like this. When I show up at work and the forecasts are as they would have been today for Zurich, the weather's going to be the main thing you discuss in the briefing. It's the threat of the day, isn't it? It's the thing that you're going to be trying to sort out. How much fuel do we need? What alternates do we need? There we go. So that's concerning. That would suggest we probably come out the side of one. Again, they've captured the feel of it so well. But yeah, you could get... If it's like this and a thunderstorm appears in front, no problem. But you just go around it, But when you're just stuck in the cloud, you are relying on that radar. Some of them can be more sensitive than others. Chris Lewis says, as an Airbus pilot, what are your opinions on the on the Marine reforms of 107 BC? Well, I'll have to keep that to myself. I don't want to start any arguments in chat as we all weigh in with our opinions on the Marine reforms of 107 BC. So to keep things civil, we'll skip past that question. Victor Stanger says, how do you decide the amount of extra fuel you want to take? So it's all going to come down to what the actual forecast is. But thunderstorms, usually you want, I would say 40 minutes is a typical. If an airfield reckons there could be thunderstorms overhead the airfield, then you want about 40 minutes. That 40 minutes is usually about the time for the thunderstorm to actually hopefully blow through, so just pass over the airfield or over the approach path and then carry on moving. Because if you think about it, think about a heavy downpour and lightning. How long have you ever seen that actually last? So that's the idea there. But then you also need fuel, not just for the 40 minutes while you wait for the storm, because everybody's going to be waiting. So then you need extra holding fuel for other people to make their approach. So how much of that? Is it a busy airfield, or is it basically a quiet airfield and it's just you expecting to be there? So then that's going to influence how much fuel you take. But 40 minutes about for at least for a thunderstorm to pass through. And then you might want to say, well, if we get there and the thunderstorm just arrives as we're on approach and we have to break off and go and hold and do it again, we need enough for another go around as well. So that could be a bit extra there. And also your alternate. Is your alternate worth going to? Or is it full of thunderstorms as well? So are you likely to go to your alternate, or do you not really mind? Because if you take enough fuel to stay where you are, then there's no sense flying to another airfield just to be in thunderstorms there, having burnt your alternate fuel when you could have used that to stay where you are. Yeah, so lots of things to talk about. Is delivery during heavy downfall? Indeed, yep. So taking off in heavy rain is not something we typically do or tend to wait, because you just don't know. It suggests a microburst or something like that. Less of a problem in Northern Europe, where the thunderstorms don't tend to get so high, although it can still be a problem, especially for more performance limiting areas or airfields. But yeah, you're not gonna take off with a heavy downpour.
Reed Center, Southwest 208 on frequency.
Somewhere further south, especially. Right, engine anti-ice off.
Southwest 1208, answer bonjour, scope 5711.
This is on.
Walking 5711, Southwest 208, bonjour. Bonjour.
Where are we going? Find that question to Morocco. Control bonjour, then air 222, climbing flight level 320 to Morocco.
Then 222, answer bonjour, scope 5702.
Squawk 5702, then air 222. Oh yes, let's see if I can remember. I didn't do this today. So that should be on TARA. Then we're going to go to 5702, enter, and I can also go to ID, put in
Then 222 identified, climb level 320 and direct Romeo Lima Papa.
direct 2 run upon, climb level 320, then air 222. That's very nice, that's a good routing. Let's see if I can get this.
Southwest 1208 identified, climb level 380, direct XC2, India X-ray, India Lima uniform.
Southwest 1208, climbing to flight level 30, going direct to Zulu, India X-ray, India Lima uniform, Southwest 1208.
Ah, there we go, that was hard work. Goodness me. Just putting in our call sign in there. That's it, yeah. Ice detected. Well, we know we're past that. Is it showing up on the outside? No, good. I think I have that turned off. Hello to you, Michael John. Michael says, good evening, Captain, and everyone. Recently joined the PC ranks, so I have this majestic piece of aviation history. I love the sync system. I think it's incredibly intuitive. Thanks for coming along, Michael. Glad to hear you've moved over to the PC. Wow, it's a bit turbulence. The sync system is interesting. So to those of you who don't know, I know I've talked about it before, but it's, if you can see, we're climbing in IAS mode. So the airplane, we apply the thrust that we want, and the airplane will try and maintain the speed by adjusting the pitch. So if I add more power, the airplane will have to raise the nose to keep the speed where it is. To change the speed I got selected, I have to use the control wheel steering or sync function. So I press my sync toggle, there's sync, and now I'm actually flying the airplane myself. So I can raise the nose, let the speed drop back a bit. And when I see the speed get to the speed I want it to hold, so let's do 0.62, something like that. And then I release the sync button. In my case, I've got it set to toggle, so I press it, and now it should hold that new speed. So you'll see it adjust its pitch accordingly. Anti-ice is indeed off. Yes. Yeah, we just got our ice detector message, sadly. Fuel transfer is on, which is leaving that automatic, draining that centre tank.
Control, good evening. Swiss Air 432, climbing flight level 360.
And what I'm going to do then is just get up to cruise and then accelerate as fast as we can go. Oh yes, direct run pod, thank you very much. Let's do that.
5771, Swiss 432.
There it goes, off to the right. Probably looks like quite a good shortcut actually. Thanks, Michael John. Good to see you here.
This 432 identified, climb level 360.
It's been a little while. It has been a little while since we streamed, so yeah, apologies for that gap, but thank you for joining us today.
432.
EG72 Tango with you inbound Airbus.
EG72 Tango, bonjour, identified. Level 340.
We are starting to run out of steam here. It's certainly not really managing to turn and climb. We're only doing 250 knots, decimal 62.
EG72 Tango.
EG72 Tango, go ahead.
Confirm level 340.
Con9 says, are real Airbus windshield wipers that loud and making a scratching sound like in Phoenix? I find it impossible to fly with them because they're too loud and highly pitched. Yeah, they are ridiculously loud. Windscreen wipers on aircraft are famously loud, and pilots will do anything not to use them. We really leave it to the last minute, and if we do need them, we'll turn them on as late as possible. I'm talking, it's not uncommon for pilots to get the other pilot to turn on the wipers for them, because they'll be hand flying by that point, and they don't want to risk it. Because the absolute what we're trying to avoid is the ridiculously distracting noise, and worst of all is if the wipers are running on a dry windscreen. It's hideous, and we don't want to come through a shower on final and then break out and it's dry on the other side, because the windscreen instantly dries. Remember, it's very hot. Let me know how the audio is. I might have to turn it down with that in the background. Yeah, a running wiper on a dry windscreen, awful, noisy, scratches, terrible. So same on takeoff. You'll almost never use them on takeoff, but if you think there's a risk of you losing some of the visual picture out the window, then you're stuck and you have to run them. You'll get in the air and so quickly the hand goes up and you'll turn it off, or you get the other person to turn it off. On the Airbus, remember, they're not in the middle here, they're actually each side, so mostly pilots will just do their own. But if you're on final approach or something, you might be hand flying and you get the other pilots to do it. That was a long answer to that question, but there you go. But yeah, they are hideously loud. Alex says, can you tell us why the props overspeed on the Q4XP after landing when selecting disc? I used to fly the 300 in real life, and I'm not sure how to avoid this on the Q4XP. Thanks. Alex, I have the same issue as you. I want to fly that again. I need to fly the Toliss 340, and I need to fly the Q4XP again. It's been too long since we've used those aircraft. Yeah, that's a bug. They shouldn't overspeed. When you move them from idle to disc, they shouldn't overspeed, basically. Yeah. So I'm sure you're doing everything right, Alex. The Q400's bad, but it's not that bad. No, it's not bad. I shouldn't say that. Frank, see us off the left. I think Frank's out there somewhere, probably going faster than us if they're in a 7.3. Beautiful, beautiful views. Just spot on. Spurious says, what's the little yellow and black balls on the centre windscreen? This is for lining up your vision. So the idea would be that you should be able, when you're sitting in your seat, it should block out the other ball, the yellow ball. So this black ball blocks it out. Similar to the Airbus. Airbus has the same system. It's fine, but if you're too low, it doesn't often show that up very well. It just shows you if you're too high. If you're high, you see the yellow over the top, but if you're in the right place or too low, you still won't see the ball behind, typically. So in the Airbus, it's quite common to see people sit a bit low. 500 feet per minute. Come on, airplane, you can do it. Making quite good time. Says, how accurate or authentic are the IFO routes calculated by SimBrief? Do you find yourself amending or changing the provided routes? Great question. As far as I can tell, they seem fine, but I don't do flight planning, and quite often I get in trouble or I had the wrong filed route. So I think they're good. I think they're realistic in the sense that they look realistic, and I look at them and go, yeah, that's what I'd expect to fly. So yeah. I don't think they're bad, but I think sometimes they just don't know local procedures, which I wouldn't know if I was planning the flight myself. KBX says, hello, I'm related to the BAE. Sorry, no problem at all, but dying to ask. I read somewhere that holding the APU fire test button on the 320 for longer than 3 seconds could discharge the agent. Is this true? That is a very recent change, so you are well up to speed, KBX. My understanding is, I think, I need to recheck the wording of it, but something like that. Yeah, you've got to be careful. Yeah, pretty good thing to get wrong, isn't it? Very good knowledge. Igloo says, 320, your weight is a bit ambitious. Yeah, I'm beginning to realise that. I mean, it's still holding a steady 500, so we've got 3,000 feet to go. We're going to 3.2. I'm going to ask to stop at 300. Control down air 222. Can we cruise at flight level 300 stay, please? We're a bit heavy.
That's level 2 approved. Maintain level 300.
Thank you. Maintain level 300 down air 222. Right, out arm. Leveling off the 300s. Get some speed going.
Bonjour,
Flight Holly, I would get the cat to say hello, but she's not here. I think she's asleep upstairs. Yeah. Spud says, are you still flying in real life? Yes, indeed. P-Bowl says, heavy and a bit warm today. Yeah. I don't think it's too warm. What is the temperature? I assume this is a static air temperature. Minus 30. It's not even very easy to read that. What's that telling me?
75 Quebec Echo, score 4021.
0, 10, 20, 30. No, 0, 10. I can't understand that scale. We're almost there. Get right up, we'll cruise right at the max. Firetronic says the 146 is the most underrated aircraft ever. There you go. It's got a lot of fans. Very popular with those who flew it as well. I think I can set this as well.
Easy 75 Quebec Echo identified.
Okay, we're in out. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Sorry, I'm having an argument with my in-flight snack, which is some Reese's peanut butter cups, and I cannot get, it's a bag, and I can't get them open at all. It's from a very old trip. They're very old, from a trip to America a long time ago. Jonathan says, wonder if JustFlight will make the RJ100. Yeah, I'd be curious to know. I wonder how much work it would be to swap. Probably more than we think. Alexander Paz, good to see you. I hope you're doing well.
Don't
understand how they think anyone's going to get into this bag. Didn't have any tearaway points or any of that. Oh dear. give in and get some scissors. Checkpoint says, if I weren't allergic to the peanuts, you could hand them over to me. No returns, though. It's always a risky snack to take on an airplane, anything peanut related, because you never know if that PA will be made saying no peanut snacks on board, please.
Green Center, Southwest 208, stepping away for 10 minutes.
Roger, report back, please.
We'll report back, Southwest 208.
So there you go. It is actually overspeeding. So we were running on. We have excess thrust. We have more thrust than we need. Now I don't know what the target TGT would be at this point. Come on. It's got the most sensitive overspeed warning. This airplane. He says they've stopped offering peanuts on snacks at all in the US in the past 10 years. Haven't had an option like pretzels or biscuit cookies.
Have an open mic.
Still not bad, more than you get in a lot of airlines in Europe. But yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. Checkpoint says it's not that bad for me. I can be close to someone who ate peanuts and still be alive.
Last station calling you on plastic coordinating for microphone.
What's that? My mic's stuck open. We've had that before on stream. That's very embarrassing. Oh no, I can see it's receiving, but we're not transmitting. Okay. Yeah, aren't cookies better anyway? Exactly. Yeah, peanuts aren't that great. But yeah, it makes sense not to offer them, I think. If it's a common allergy, which it is. Come on. I think what's happening is, yeah, I can see what's happening. I'm bringing the throttles back, and then the TMS is driving them forward again to our TGT of 820. So, I think we're going to go for sync. So we know 820 was too much on the TGT. Let's sit it around 800. So sensitive. I don't understand why this one keeps jumping up so high. So it comes down and then immediately drives back.
Easy 901 Yankee Lima, nothing further, monitoring Indigo 122.18, double bar.
122.18,
You can tell that. I have a slight lack of respect for the airspeed warning in this airplane. I imagine this airplane would have flown around before the days of flight data monitoring. In fact, I'm sure it did. So the pilots would have had an overspeed warning like that. Wouldn't have even had any paperwork. Okay, we seem to have got control back of our throttles. So that's good news. We're going too fast, indeed we are. Okay, let's try 760 TGT, 901. That seems pretty good. Let's see if that works for us. Need to select one, then sync, so the engine sync to engine one. Okay. Yeah, we've got master 1. I think I've done that. 89.9, 90. So sitting at 90%. Okay, this seems to be working. Frank is running at Mach 7.4. We are doing similar. Frank, what are you flying? Are you flying 7.3? We are doing decimal 7, 2, 3, 4. Yep. Pole 9 says, how often do you get speeding tickets from the airline? Well, these days, if you overspeed, you'd get an immediate report that needs to be written up. You'd have to tell them straight away, and it wouldn't even matter. They'd know before you landed. Maintenance would know. They'd have engineers ready to inspect the airplane. Well, that is if they have enough staff, but that's a whole other topic. But yeah, it's they know straight away. So you have to do an ASR explaining why that happened. Frank is in a 737 at 380. Very good. So if you're doing Mach 7, if you're doing the same Mach number, you must presumably be going faster over the ground. You must be doing more than 454 ground speed. Is that right? Am I thinking right? Depends if you're above the tropicals, I think. Happy Friday, Thecros. So, ETA 1741. What does this reckon? We're on live time today. Will this tell us? No. Just have to go with the overlay.
Charlie, Lima Mike. Sorry, clear direct, Charlie, Lima Mike.
So yeah, we've got quite a way to go because we've got to go. Started there.
Shamrock 8242.
We're what, a third of the way?
Go ahead.
Shamrock 8240 due to airspace restrictions. Descent level 3
Good time.
to reach Vega when ready.
Spirit says, suppose this was a back in the day aircraft when no one would know unless someone took a peek at the flight data. Exactly, yeah, pretty much.
Mega.
Going faster than Frank. Very good, very good. Kelpie says, what is bad about overspeeding besides potential aircraft stress? That's exactly it though. It's aircraft stress. It's shockwaves will start to form on aircrafts in the wrong places. The engines aren't designed to take air at those speeds. It can lead to buffeting. Now the chances of a couple of knots making a difference is basically zero, but that doesn't excuse us. We have to obey those limits. They're there for a reason, and they're designed to give the safety margin. So just because you oversped and have to report it doesn't mean the airplane was about to fall apart. But if you do overspeed an airplane enough, yes, shockwaves, buffeting, controls could become ineffective. They might not be designed to work with such high dynamic pressure from the airflow being too fast, or shockwaves being in the wrong place, that sort of thing.
Welcome back, sir. Croatia 831.
Yes, Croatia 831.
Croatia 831, proceed direct Sosa.
Direct to Sosa, Croatia 831.
Control Swiss 432 request.
Control 32, go ahead.
Just a few minutes away from the cockpit.
Yeah, you have 10 minutes approved for pullback.
Roger that. It's 432.
Dan 222.
Go ahead, Dan 222.
Dan 222 for separation. Turn left by 10 degrees and report on your heading.
Left 10 degrees, that's going to be heading 300, Dan 222.
Merci. So it's 1208 for separation. Turn right by 10 degrees and report on your heading.
Turning right 10 degrees and we'll report heading southwest 1208.
So there we go. I was just playing around with the drone there. So heading 300s and heading. There we go. No problem. See the magic of RNAV. I'd be getting nervous if I had to do this using the VOR to VOR.
Heading 326 southwest 1208.
So there's controller separating. I do apologise. I've done something to the chat and now I've lost a lot of things. So I'm just going to have to jump into them manually. Alexander Newman, good to see you. Igloo Fruit says, most of my early flights were PSA Mad Dogs in the 80s going up and down the west coast. Lots of Seattle to San Diego. Love San Diego. Never been to Seattle. Igloo Fruit says, I'm tempted to get the Mad Dog just to redo those, but I'm way over budget for planes. Yeah, and it's obviously one of the most expensive ones. So definitely worth considering. I like the MD-80. There's another one I want to fly again. There's too many airplanes, and we still haven't even flown the PMDG. But the 146 was on the cards because of the update and the down air virtual. But I see the 737. So are there any PMDG 737 routes we can do for down air virtual? Sure there are. The flight level, good to see you. The flight level says, just popped in to say thank you for your Airbus A320 videos. Learned to fly the Phoenix 320 with your concise guidance. Gave you full credit in my first video using AutoLand. Please check it out. Thanks for flight level, really appreciate it. Glad their videos were helpful. Very kind. Thanks for coming on to say so. Right, as this works. Oh, come on. I've really messed up the streaming software here. So we're now drifting off to the left. As you can see, our deviation bar. He says, all the Fly Globesland and Meridiana routes are 737NG eligible. Should be able to fly one. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, so PMDG 737, that's on the cards.
ED57 Yankee Kilo, nothing further than monitor Unicom.
Docker says, it's a very pretty plane, lots of stars in the cockpit. Yeah, it is, yeah. There are plenty. They've done a really good job. There's just so much to like about this. We're getting quite used to it. We fly quite a lot on the channel now.
Roger, 122.8, goodbye.
Frank says, I want to get the Mad Dog too, but I'm torn because of the price. I also wish modelling were a bit sharper. I know it's kind of picky. Yeah, so some of the texturing does drop a bit if you get too close. We've been spoiled a bit with the Phoenix, of course, but I don't think it looks bad. It's just for its price point, I suppose it should be the best because it's the most expensive.
Tangible 2, proceed direct Abner.
Look, Abner, Tangible 2. Here we go. Direct Abner. Go. There we go, 62 miles. So, 1740. So, arriving in an hour.
878 Delta, nothing further. One of the Unicom.
Seems a bit optimistic.
6 Unicom, thanks for your help. Have a good evening. Bye-bye.
one, but he says the short haul ones within Europe at least, and he won't let me take the 738 from Knox to Boston. There you go. Mohit says, hello, I'm Easy 57 Yankee Kilo on frequency. We'll listen out for you, mate. Checkpoint says, would love to fly along with the jump seat, great view. Yeah, jump seats often are. They're typically slightly higher. This one, yeah, this one's slightly higher as well, so you get a good view down, you get a really nice sense of what's going on. The only downside of the jump seat is that if you're used to flying in one of these seats and landing, inevitably, because the jump seat sits a bit higher and you get a different view out the window, you always feel like the landing is about to be a real cruncher. It's really hard to fight that urge. Like if you're looking out the windows from the jump seat, you just get this sense that the airplane is going to just smash into the runway really heavy, even though it isn't, and it's just because of the weird picture you've got. So it is amazing how moving your head just a foot in a bit up or a bit to the side really messes with your ability to land these aircraft. It's all built on a visual picture and peripheral vision and other things. It's really quite something how little change is needed to really mess up. And I've noticed it as well, even in the Airbus. If I don't have my seat at the right height, especially if I have it a bit high, inevitably I can't get the landing like I want it to, because it's just messed up the angle out of the picture. Rob, thanks so much for your $6.14 tip. Really appreciate it, Rob. Very kind. Rob says, discovered your channel a while ago and have finally been around for a stream. Love watching your content, especially as an aspiring pilot. Thanks so much, Rob. Really appreciate the tip. Very kind of you. Glad the channel's been useful. Thank you for coming on today. Thank you for that very kind tip. And good luck becoming a pilot. Yeah. If you're in America, it's especially good time right now, it seems. But yeah, it's great to see so many people. And we've had a lot of people come to the channel who are now qualified. So it happens quicker than you think. So yeah, good luck. Thank you very much for the tip. Really appreciate it.
Center Swiss 432 back with you.
Welcome back, Swiss 432. Report your number.
CJM98 says, consider getting this. Would you recommend? I would, but you've got to be, be aware of, if you want to use a fancy FMS, this is...
Dan 222, just confirm with me as taxing Abner.
Oh, apologies. Yeah, we did one thing, but not the second. We'll route direct to Abner now.
Thank you.
Direct to, two things to do. So you've got to do direct, and it's not an Airbus. It won't go into LNAV. I need to do it myself. Classic Airbus pilot mistake. Classic mistake on any other sort of airplane. Dash 8, we did that all the time. Direct to, two things to do. Brand, thanks for the subscription. Anyway, there we go. Now we're routing to Abner. Embarrassing. So, let's have a look. About good to see you. I'm doing well. I hope you are the same. CGM says, consider getting this. Would you recommend? Yeah. So, as long as you can accept the FMS, or if you're happy to fly VOR to VOR, the real authentic old school experience, this is a beautiful add-on. Looks lovely, sounds lovely. Yeah, we didn't get our co-pilot voices, but it's got lots of nice little features. You've got all of this in here. What's our voices? What's flip chart option?
Swiss 1208, proceed direct demal.
Going direct to DMAL, that's awesome to Zurich.
Don't know. Pilot call out to there. Just turn them on again, just in case. Yeah. And now it's got SimRief flight plan loading through this, which is very good. So yeah, I like it a lot. It flies really nicely as well, and they've modelled the old style automatic systems in it with the sync feature and so on really well. So it's very nice to hand fly. Thank you again, Rob, for that very kind tip. He says, at least I don't make you say 222, though 222 probably wouldn't fly in the US, preferring 222. Ah, I see, yeah, I've never heard 222. This call sign, if I was using this one, I would expect to go 222 or 222. Yeah, those would be the options. And it's very, as you can imagine, it is nice when a controller lets you use 222. But some controllers don't like it. John says, have you tried the ThrottleTech A320 throttle? No, I have not. I had heard nothing about it. I had no idea what it was. And I literally, just before the stream, was looking at V1's video of it. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
1208 approved.
Mohit's been sent to Unicom. Fair enough. En route from Edinburgh to Geneva. Excellent, enjoy. Yeah, this jump seat pilot guy agreed. Doesn't seem to have any space. I'm going to assume it slides out. I don't know if that's modelled. Yes, it is. There you go. Yeah, that's quite... Again, the Airbus does exactly the same thing.
10x5 on golf, descent level 23.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess that's staying out.
Easy 205, when ready, descent.
A good vertical speed for the A320 as you climb is whatever it gives you. If you're getting to within a few thousand feet of your level off, then you want to restrict your rate of climb to about 1 minute to go, if that makes sense, down to about 1,000 feet per minute. So whatever climb thrust gives you, you can let the airplane climb at that, no problem. If it's doing 4,000 feet per minute, but it's keeping the speed and it's climbing, then that's great. That's good stuff. You want to get up as quickly as possible.
Dan 222, report your Mach number.
Mach decimal 75, Dan 222.
Okay.
If you get to within, let's say you're climbing at 3,000 feet per minute, then when you get to within a minute to go, so 3,000 feet per minute means that 3,000 feet to go would be a minute to go, then you want to start reducing your rate of descent. You don't want to be doing 4,000 feet per minute with 2,000 feet to go, and by then it's too late. The airplane will just capture the altitude on for you anyway. So it's not as bad as doing it on aircraft like this or the Dash, where there's more of a risk of it shooting through. So within 2,000 feet, 2,000 feet per minute, within 1,000 feet, 1,000 feet per minute, and then leave it alone. Some people do 1,500 feet per minute within 2,000 feet and just leave it at that. But I think 1,500 feet per minute is quite high if you're leveling off at an intermediate level and there's traffic descending above you and you're doing 1,500 feet per minute and they're doing 1,500 feet per minute, the TCAS can get a bit excited. Thoughts on the A220s, Isabella? Yeah, I think it looks cool. I've never been on the flight deck of one though, so I don't have it much I could say about it. I think there is one YouTuber who's a pilot of an A220. It does it very nice. It's got fancy screens compared to the Airbus. Kelpie says, I remember you talking about flying around South America. When do you think stuff like that will happen? 70k subs?
10x5 on golf, nothing
No, it doesn't. We don't need to wait for 70k subs for that. We need to just be braver. We did well for a while, and I've sort of resorted back into these routes. Inevitably, they've got something I would need to check out, like the 146 today, and it's too convenient to do a Dan Air route with it. So, yeah, we need to get on with that. So that's my next question for you guys. We've passed 60,000 subscribers. So thank you all so much. Really, it's really amazing. So 60,000 subscribers. What do we want to do as a celebration? We hadn't really agreed this one. We agreed the Concorde for 50 well in advance, but we've gone through 60 now. So before it gets too silly and too late, what are we going to do? I've been trying to have a think, and I'm open to a long haul flight again, but I don't know if people want that or not. If I did, it would probably be in the Toliss 340. Something I need to discuss with you guys.
Dan 222, you're leaving my airspace, I want to see the come on 22 bed.
What did you decimate then, 222? Thanks for your help, mate. Oh, come on. You're not really overspeeding. Mash says, interesting about the seat height. My PhD was to do with time to collision in drivers at different elevations from the road. Might continue the work with pilots. Yeah. Oh, honestly, if my seat is too high, and I don't know if it's because it's just what I'm used to, or whether it's harder or easier, or actually better or worse, but whatever you're used to, if you're not in that exact position, especially if you go higher, it's amazing. You just misjudge the flare. By comparison. I mean, nothing unsafe, but just, yeah. And what's annoying is you often don't really realise you've got your seat position wrong until it's too late. So lots of pilots around on final approach, once the airplane's fully configured, landing checklist is done, then they'll start fiddling with their seat, trying to get it into exactly the right position. It's really common. I bet it would be really noticeable if you jump seated. You'd see the pilots just shifting around, because they'd have obviously adjusted the seat throughout the flight, and then it would be a big scene as they twitch just what appear to be tiny millimeters, but it all makes a difference where your arm is, where your elbow sits, where the angle of everything. Yeah. Igloo Foo says, I was doing flights the other day in VR in the Phoenix. Landing was so different compared to 2D. I was amazed how much easier. There you go. Yeah, the 3D image. Yep. He says, talking about the 222. Denver was not keen on me saying Frontier Flight 777. He definitely wanted 777. It seems a bit silly, but there we go. All different air traffic control centres have their own rules. We should take the Phoenix into Santos Dumont sometimes. There's RV. There you go. Chickman says, I heard space shuttle might be coming. Imagine that. Now that would be cool. I'd love a space shuttle. Igloo Foo says, Toliss 340 perked my ears up. That always has my vote. Okay. Yana Lennon says, failures for the 70k. 70k, yeah, we'll deal with that if we get there. A380, we don't have a 380 we can use yet. Checkpoint says, I'm up for a long haul flight. Maybe we can go to South Africa. Yeah. It would be an X-plane if we did it with the Toliss. And says, well, how about the Microsoft Flight Simulator 40th anniversary release of the A310? When's that coming out? That's quite a way away though, isn't it? Isn't that later in the year? Because yes, that could be good. That could be very good. Thanks, Dennis. It says you got this. Space Shuttle 1 go around to Dave. I'm certain we wouldn't be allowed it on that sim. Terry says, my friend had new prescription glasses. He said I buried the plane into the runway as his depth of field was all over the place. Passengers not happy and embarrassing for the captain. For a captain. Yeah, so new glasses, if they affect your peripheral vision, will make a difference. If you've got the sort of thick sides to your glasses that were in style, they're not so much in style now, but they were in style a few years ago. So yeah, if you lose your peripheral vision, because a lot of your landing comes from that. If you were to put sort of blinkers on somebody and try and let them to land, it would be terrible, sure, because it's all the little details around the outside that make a difference. Orlando wants us to fly to Antarctica. Okay, yeah, I need to organise that. Definitely get that organised. I still can't believe we've done it. Like 60,000. It's a crazy number. And the problem is we are through 60. We're at 62. Almost at 63. So yeah, we need to get on top of that. Gudrun says, good afternoon, greetings from Poland to you. You teach me how to fly A320 and make flying in Microsoft Flight Simulator a pleasure. Nice to see you in BAE now. Have a nice flight. Thanks so much, Gudrun. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you. Thanks for coming along. I'm glad the video has been useful for you. And yeah, 146 treating us nicely. This is a long flight for a 146. We don't normally do this far. Not too far to go now. Remember, we are storming over the ground at 450 knots. Here's south of the UK. We're going up to Belfast up here. So it is time really to get looking at some charts. I have no idea how to fly non-precision approach in this airplane, but we might have to. I don't think we've got a controller there. No, lots of controllers on the route though. Lots of UK controllers online, surprisingly. London is online, okay, so London might contact us. So let's see, what arrivals have we got into Aldergrove? So, fine, yeah. We're coming via. Yeah, payload limited by maximum landing weight because of the extra fuel we took. So we're going in via Duffy, Bagso, Duffy, but Lauren B reckons that might be wrong. Probably should have used one of these. Don't even know where they are. Oh, the eternal puzzle of the arrivals. And this is going to get awkward because if I can't find them on the charts, I don't actually have any way to see where they are. Let's see if we can spot a better arrival, and then we'll just do that. So, Sopax or Ramok? So we've seen those waypoints. No. I took Bagso Duffy. No, none of them. None of them are even close. Never will start into Belfast anyway, so it's not on beat yet. No, it definitely appeared not, so I'm not getting too excited. Don't know where they are on the chart, don't know where Duffy is in relation to the airfield. So we may, if we get any luck with the controller, we'll ask them. Otherwise, I'm going to have to set up the VOR and start navigating or getting a sense of where I am based on it. So we got VOR LSDME for both, oh there you go, for runway 17 and runway 25. Let's see if we can get the weather. So there is a way in here. What can we do in here? Does this... I saw some options. Arrive data? Nope. Data link. Weather. Echo, Golf, Alpha, Alpha. Is this going to work? P-Bowl says, dial in Arnhem to see where you are. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'll do. I'll just stick in the Belfast VOR. Hopefully there is one right there. 1172. Probably on an aircraft like this, you'd have actually bothered to tune this en route. I'm being very lazy. 1172. And then we'll have it, when it gets within range, it should display down here. Now, where does that received weather go? View. There it is. So, let's write this down. 15013. So, interesting. Southeasterly. Bearing 130 to 200. 16 degrees. Exactly the same temperature as where we left then. But low pressure, QNH 995. Okay. That's fine. So, that is interesting. Probably puts us on a... Oh, there's a new effect. I haven't seen that before. Probably puts us on a non-position then. That's just caused by the wind change. Sudden load in there of the wind. Spurious Podge, thanks so much for the £10 super chat. Really appreciate it. Spurious says, great content learning load from them. I'd emailed JustFlight RE, the co-pilot. They said unless it's configured for takeoff just right, the no strobe light, etc. Otherwise the co-pilot won't come out. I must have missed something. Yeah, I must. Probably the strobes. That is probably the perfect example. There it is. That's my mistake. Come on, airplane. We need to speed brakes. Hopefully, it settles down now. Yeah, so it probably was just the strobes. So yeah, thanks for doing that, Spirius, and thanks so much for your £10 donation. Glad you're enjoying the videos. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you, Spirius. Very kind. Pilot guide, that FMC is not the same as a real one. Yeah. Ooh. That was a bit of a speed loss. So yeah, we're getting hit with some proper turbulence here. Good. So 150 at 13. So we're going to land in on 27. 80 degrees off. We could do the VOR, couldn't we? Should we try a VOR? The alternative would be we could land on, in fact, it would probably be the southerly runway, wouldn't it be 17? Yeah, it'd be 17. So what do we have at runway 17? Oh, there you go. It's an ILS. So we can fly this procedurally or radar vectors. We'll see. Oh, it's quite fun. That's a traditional style procedure turn. That's quite good. So, unless that traffic comes in and interferes, we'll fly the VOR ILS DME. So we'll fly outbound on the VOR, 7.1 miles, sorry, 6.9 on the BL, or 7.1 on the IFT. Make our left turn, 299. And then back round in 1271 for London Centre. Let's check we're not about to stall. Oh, it really did slow down.
London Center, Southwest 1208 at flight level 380.
Southwest 1208, London, hello, route direct Trent, Tango, November.
That's great here in the southwest. Cool sign.
Route direct Tango, Trent, Tango, November, Tango, Southwest 1208.
Low good easy, 87 Takeoff Foxtrot stand 1 at Luton with Alpha A320 requesting clearance to Lisbon, please.
Easy 87 Tango Foxtrot, London,
Down airplane, faster
Lisbon,
please.
Compton, Fort Bravo, Squawk 7572, QNH 1003.
To Lisbon, Compton, Fort Bravo, Squawking 7572, QNH 1003, easy 87 Takeoff Foxtrot.
Easy 87 Tango Foxtrot, connect, depression start was approved.
Pushing start approved, 87 Takeoff Foxtrot.
Lufthansa 2 Golf Yankee, London, hello.
Looks like Emmanuel's currently using runway 25. Are they?
Route direct Dessie, descent, flight level 220.
I suppose a bit of a tailwind onto 25. Thanks, Jonathan Gunthauser. See you next time. Thanks for coming along.
London Control, good evening. Shuttle 13 Lima Whiskey, flight level 280.
25 would be an interesting choice.
Shuttle
Be a bit of a
13 Lima
tailwind.
London, hello, file a flight plan, please.
What apologies, we'll do that now for you.
Yeah.
72 Tango, nothing further, monitor Unicom.
Unicom for easy 72 Tango, good day.
London, good evening. Down Air 222, flight level 300, routing to L2.
Easy 1280, resume one navigation, direct Pepin.
Matthew Presley, good to see you. Yeah,
Shanx 498,
we've been enjoying it.
follow the instructions, please. Climb now, flight level 200.
That's it.
Shuttle 222, London Control, roger.
Huh?
Shuttle 13 Lima Squawk.
So that's checked in then, I guess.
3 Nagra 1 hotel arrival.
Still haven't seen anything here. 10 miles range. Let's increase the range on the TCAS.
353 and Nagra 1 hotel for arrival for Shuttle 13 Lima. And Shuttle 13 Lima is just requesting descent.
Shuttle 13 Lima descent, flight level 150, level by stop it.
TRA.
Flight level 150 level by stop it for
See if anyone's above us. That's where they're most likely to be. Brakes down at minus 31. Oh, there you go. 7,000.
Thomas Cook 27, Mike Hotel, nothing further, monitor.
Ah, someone's flying us Thomas Cook. Very good.
Unicom, Thomas Cook 27, Mike Hotel.
Ah. Climb now, indeed. Peter, I think I saw that you're saying that the DC pump has its own reservoir and is done separately. Scockers, see you next time. Thanks for coming along. Garmin airplane, you're getting there. Okay, we're back up to speed. This is the tedious bit. Matthew Presley's more used to this. CRJ doesn't have auto throttle, but you do.
Down 222, route direct Trent, Tango, November, Tango.
Direct Trent, down 222. In the real world, they would have listened to our warning horn, and everyone else on the frequency would know what we're up to. We're over speeding. Trent, and we are in countdown.
With 432, maintaining flight level 360.
Garmin airplane.
Just 432, London control, hello, route direct Trent, Tango, November, Tango.
Direct Tango, November Tango, Swiss 432.
2 point says, let's see what is faster. My food being delivered to me or landing? Probably your food. There you go, Matthew. That's the saying. I was just trying to think of that earlier. If you ain't clacking, you're slacking. Exactly. Come on. We are. I can't believe it's got this much excess power. I suppose we've lightened up a bit. We've emptied the centre fuel tank.
Station calling, you're outside Mayor Space, monitor Unicom.
Unicom. Croatia 31.
Matthew says, speaking of that, now that I'm no longer at the company, I've flown the oldest CRJ 900 in the world. That's pretty cool. I don't know who has that, Matthew. I'll have to look it up later. So Matthew, what are you off to do now? Are you flying something different now? Oh, aeroplane. Sorry, the Greek Badger. The horn is because we're over speeding. I have no good reference for the thrust settings to set in the cruise. In fact, I do. JustFlight said some great information about it, but I've forgotten it. 767 time, Matthew. Wow, brilliant. That must be great news. Surely that is what you've been aiming for. Are you excited about that, Matthew? 767. I mean, I wish that something like that could be said in Europe, but these days they're all gone. Okay, back at 7.5, that's where we want it to be. Good. Well, we are getting there. So, Bell, 117.2, I need that tune. 117.2, and I need the ILS frequency, 110.9, course of 164. There's the frequencies. So what I can do to make my life easy, let's think.
Center,
Let's
step away
think.
for just a couple minutes. Stop the top Zurich.
I want...
Yeah, that's fine, report when you're back.
Report me back for the
I think I can do it myself, all on the same side. In real life, you'd be a bit clever, but with one pilot, it's a bit hard to do that. So I'll have... What I can do... There is a VOR lock mode, isn't there? VOR lock. So will that work outbound? I don't see why it wouldn't. But I'd need to put it the other way around. So if I put in... Yeah, I'm going to put 164, the inbound course in, and then I'll just fly outbound and heading and adjust it as I need to.
Shanx 498, nothing further, monitor.
164, so my course bar will be the wrong way round. But, oh no, that is a bad idea. No, I'm talking nonsense. Alright, let's put 164 in nav 2.
London 135, decimal 8, 767 with
And in here, we'll put in the reciprocal of
Shuttle 13 Lima, contact
344.
London 135, decimal 8.
yeah, and we'll just have that there.
135, decimal 8, 13 Lima.
344. We'll just swap it around during the procedure term. Otherwise, I'm going to confuse myself. And it's not that hard. It's easier, of course, in the real aircraft because you just reach up and spin this round, or crucially, get the other pilot to do it. There you go.
London Center, Southwest 120, back on the flight deck.
344, 164. Matthew says, oh yeah, professional bunkie relief officer, pay and all, 6 figures to sleep on a third of every flight. I mean, that's amazing. Yeah. That sounds like a good job. I think the sounds like the pay in America is significantly better than in Europe. Lauren B says, still got 767 freighters in Europe that are due to fly for many more years to come. Indeed, yeah, that is true. The freighters, that's the place to go. There's a few freighters left over.
Lufthansa 2 Golf Yankee, contact London 135.8.
Okay, so
London 135.
BOR is active, 1172. We'll fly outbound. Then I'll start the procedural turn, swap it over, head back round and in. So that's looking good. That also means we have the Belfast BOR set 1172. So when it comes alive, we'll have a distance reading to that, and that's going to be how I'm going to orientate myself accordingly for our arrival. I could, of course, just redraw my arrival via one of these points. Could take myself direct to one. And what I should also do, probably,
Easy 1280, monitor
is put
Unicom,
in
goodbye.
RS runway 17.
Swiss 128, sorry, Swiss 1208, monitor
Via
Unicom,
Bell.
goodbye.
Oh, it's actually going to be in here. How interesting.
But Unicom on 122.8, South 123.
CFFF runway 17. There's the approach. But it just goes duck in there, so I'm not convinced it fly the outbound leg either.
London, Canadian 78 Tango Lima with you, fly level 315, climbing 350.
Easy 78 Tango Lima, hello, climb flight level
Close
350.
over speeding again.
850, Easy 78 Tango.
Frank says, can 320 hold any cargo besides luggage? Absolutely it can. Yeah, no problem.
Under control, Speedbird 502, climbing out of flight level 230 for flight level 350.
Speedbird 502, hello, climb flight level 350.
So Matthew, are you staying in the US?
Maintain flight level 350, Speedbird 502.
Or are you heading out around the world? I'd imagine there'd be plenty of airlines in the US keen to snap up experienced
London,
pilots right now.
left turn heading 310 degrees, descent, flight level 160.
Don't want to miss a call from this controller.
What degree?
Right, so what else do we need to do?
310
So,
degrees.
that's the plan. That's our approach. Luckily it's the first chart. In procedural turn, background.
Flight level 160.
Runway, relatively...
160,
Actually, I don't know. Let's have a look at the airport. So, landing on... We've said 17. This is probably rarely used. Oh yeah, see, 900 metres. It's quite a short runway. But we're in a 146, so we go full flat for that. So there is a way to do this where it's pre-selected. But anyway, our V app is going to be 123. Yeah, now it adjusts to whichever one you click. That's what they changed. Good. 123, flat full for the app. Must remember to deploy the speed brakes ourselves, but that should be no problem if we can get this thing into Jersey.
ET 78 Tango Lima, contact Brussels 131.1.
So yeah, that looks good. And then after landing, vacate. Actually, backtrack up to the main terminal. That's probably why they never use this runway. Because all the parking stands are up here. Yep. Okay, so backtrack on the runway. We'll have to be quick about that because we're going to be pretty slow to get the turnaround or to swing around on the runway.
90222, monitor Unicom, goodbye.
Richie Rice says, BA now flying from London City to Thessaloniki. Greek holiday on. Wow, that's quite a route.
Swiss 878 Delta,
Oh, yeah,
I
why
might have
not?
missed the handoff. Shall I go over to Unicom now?
Swiss 878 Delta.
Matthew says, US based but flying
sorry.
around the world. A ton of
Where are
Eastern
you?
and Southeastern Asia. Very cool. Gonna see the world now.
I'm
Yeah,
just heading
very
over
jealous.
Liverpool.
Yeah, monitor Unicom, goodbye.
Thank you.
Free exchange approves. Oh yes. Were we? Yes, we were free. Yeah, we're supposed to be on. Yeah, thank you very much. Supposed to be on Unicom. Oh dear. I'm assuming this VOR will come to life. as we get closer. Yeah, there's still quite a way to go. I say that, not too far, but still very much en route. So we've set up our frequencies. No, we haven't. Look at that. Typical. So we want 1109, 1172. Cool. 1109, 1172, and we'll have the ILS on the side. 1109. Okay. So frequencies are done. Got a plan, got an approach. Landing performance is going to be tight. We're sitting pretty heavy at 40 tons. But we'll do, as we said, flat full, manual brakes. So this airplane, I think they've also improved the way the brakes work. I know that was a bit of an issue. Let me have a look at the change log. I did load that up. So yeah, you can sim brief import, which is very cool. That's a nice feature that it does. Fix some lights and so on. Fix loads of bugs. Not that I noticed many, I must say. Ground rolling resistance increase. There you go. So it's that would explain why it's taking a lot of power to get it to move on the ground, but that's presumably going to help on landing, where it used to be this airplane was like landing it in Jersey or somewhere was really quite tight. You'd land, put full brakes on, and it would struggle because you have to deploy the speed brakes yourself, and then you've also got to but there's no reverses, so yeah, it could be a bit of a mission. It's especially cool as they've simulated the flight idle pool, so you can't actually bring it straight through to idle until you touch down, so that's very cool. Oh, just so pretty, this simulator. Is that a new thing? Where I can see contrail on another aircraft? I've never seen that before in Microsoft Flight Simulator. That's pretty cool. Thanks for the subscription. Frank says that's me, there you go. Frank is up there. Is that the Southwest 73? Yeah, I'm surprised. I didn't think that was a thing. Very cool. Papa, hello to you. Thanks for coming along. I think we're all set. I mean, the only thing we haven't discussed is what descent speed we're going to use, but we'll make it work. So, before we descend, we're going to check a few things. Oh yeah, how is the pressure relation? Let's not do that. Thank you. 6.5, 8,000 feet altitude. Pretty good. Shorty, good evening to you. Thanks for coming along. It was added to Sim Update 4 or 5, so 60 feet. Oh dear. I remember contrails being added, but I didn't remember them. I don't think I've seen them on another aircraft before. That's cool. Weather looks a bit nicer here than it did leaving Zurich, at least, as well. More sort of scattered. Maybe a bit late for that, but there we go. Here we go, short service. What's this? Oh, this is the compass swing. Yep. Not too interested in that. Must remember to keep the heading bug roughly aligned. Not a very obvious heading bug in this airplane. Does not stand out well on the HSI. Fuel seems to be no issue. 6 tons of fuel on board still, so that's all looking good. And 30,000 feet, we want to descend with about 100 miles to go. That'll be about the latest, so let's work that out. So the procedure, if we're going to head to the VOR out and in, that is going to be a total mileage of 7, 14, 17, so somewhere about 17, 18 track miles here, so that means about 80, 85 miles from the VOR we need to begin our descent, because then that would be 85 plus those bits there, so 85 miles from the Bravo Echo Lima, we'll begin our descent. ILSTME reads 0 at runway 17 threshold, that's fine. Procedures max 210, so that's fine, we'll be below that, we'll be 200 knots around. Minimum clean speed at this weight is now 190 knots. So that's good. I'm assuming that's a minimum clean. I don't know what VER means actually. Everything retracted? No idea. Ignition Fox, good to see you. Thanks for coming along. Papa says, what's the range of this aircraft? I don't know. That is a good question. It's probably not that great. I mean, we seem to be underburning though today, so I genuinely don't know. It's pretty good though. It can definitely do short haul stuff. RB says flying to Zurich now, and the PMDG 737 feels better after update. Okay, is that the PMDG's been updated? Yeah, Swiss Tony says 17 is rarely used. Yes. I didn't realise that until I set up for the approach, but yeah, we think we'll get in. We got a small aeroplane. Just come out yesterday, says Frank. Okay, so what's PMDG done in their update? Still haven't flown it in its current state or old state. Ignition Fox, glad the tutorials have helped you out. Thanks for coming along, stay safe. On the radio panel, seems pretty
Traffic Papa Hotel, Charlie Bravo Delta.
pretty standard. Not sure what I just heard, but there we go. What's something that's nice about this add-on is that just you can pretty much rely on most things to do something. So it's really quite complete in that sense, which I do like. Now, I was sort of expecting to see the VOR come to life soon. Yeah, we're just heading out over the coast. Still can't pick up the Bravo Echo Lima up here. Slow down a little bit. So let's get that speed up. Thanks for the subscription to CA. 1800 miles range is JJ. There you go. Thank you very much. 1800 miles. Pretty good. More than enough, I would say. Ed says, bug fixes and control animations, trim wheel and yokes. New airline will follow shortly. I didn't know there was a... I've heard this. So is there a problem with the LNAV now, or is it just going to be upgraded? I assume it's okay now, because I had no noticed anything wrong with it the few times I've used it. Yeah, I'm getting curious. I would like to fly it. Frank says upgraded to a new system Boeing is using. It has a name I can remember. Okay, so yeah, they're just going to follow some improvements. Very nice. Always like upgrades to our airplanes. Why not? Starting to get a bit cloudier as we head north. No surprise there. The overlay seems optimistic at 1743, but of course we're going to probably land about 50, given that we'll have to fly the full procedure to do that. So that's the overhead time at the airfield. So I'm going to try and fly as fast as I can in the descent as well. Make a bit of time there. In a few places to get that option. Just make sure these are definitely set to VOR. I've done it, I see. There we go. I needed to actually swap it over. So 1172 is now the active frequency. There we go. Frank's just started descent. Excellent. So we are 115 miles to go. And we said about 85 we'll begin our descent. So very soon. So Matthew, what's an LCC job? What does that mean? Low cost carrier? Tom Coyne, good to see you. And Tom agrees indeed, LCC low cost carrier. Right. There you go, Lauren B says, used to be impossible to get a job flying full-size airline at a minimum hours. Now Spirit and Frontier are hiring pilots as soon as they hit 1500. Yeah, so... Oh, I see, yeah, we should go direct to Bell. Let's do that. Heading... In fact, let's swap over. Let's go to nav. Get our course bar round to the Bell. Somewhere there. And let's go for lock. It's just armed VOR. Tom just returned from a work meeting. I hope it went well. Tom, thanks for joining us. Yeah, we will. Orlando is absolutely right. We should go direct to the Bell. So, otherwise, take us a while. So we're going to make that turn now. Starting our descent soon, about 10 miles. Yeah, in America, 1500 hours needed to become an airline pilot at all, which is just it's just something so unfamiliar in Europe. In Europe, a lot of trainee pilots go from 200 hours to an A320. or a 737. Very normal, very normal. America has this rule of 1,500 hours before you're even allowed to do it. You can get hard at Frontier at 250 hours, conditional getting a 1,500. Yeah, which makes sense, really. Pretty much how it is in Europe, except you'd get straight into the flight deck at 250 hours. Yeah, very, very different systems. I don't know. Well, we know, seen it in the news and so on when that change came in, but yeah. Ooh, into the turbulence. So I noticed Swain Martin, who's a YouTuber, does some very nice videos, and I think Swain must be, I'm assuming, off to I'm guessing off to mainline. He's been flying regional. That's a total guess. He's been quite a bit secretive about it. NCLA says, just tested positive, send prayers. Hope you feel better soon, NCLA. Sorry to hear that. Lauren Vicky says, you didn't used to be able to get such a conditional high at regional airline until at least 1,000 hours in the past. I see. This Flynn says, you should do more VATSIM content. I like that a lot. Yeah, well, we are in VATSIM today, just a bit quiet today. Matthew says, I think Swain's at United. So, but surely I assume Swain would go to American, being that he was flying American aircraft deliveries. No? Is that not how it works in America? It's world of opportunities. The amount of flying jobs in America compared to Europe, it's so much better. It's amazing. And the conditions they work on, you've got pilots in the UK will be flying to America two crew, whereas the US carriers fly over here with 3 pilots, you know. So one of them gets to use the bunk in the flight and so on. Just the conditions are just so much better. It's yeah, it's quite notable. Quite notable. Pete Marsh, hello to you. But of course, America, the system comes with its, you know, you've got to get your hundreds of, or 1,500 hours in, and then presumably some of the starting jobs aren't as good as those mainline long haul jobs, but still, they have some very, very good conditions. Let's do our classic down to 100. Oh, no. Thank you. So we'll give the other part a bit of a heart attack. So let's start down. Let's start down in, I'm going to do it in, no, I'm not going to do VNAV. Let's start in vertical speed. Sync. Power's coming back. Probably a bit aggressive to start with. Let's do 1,000 feet per minute. VS, VOR, lock. And then trickle that power back, and then I'll pick up the vertical speed as we head down. Here we are then, coming to Belfast. Let's go back to our charts. Heading straight for the VOR, and then outbound 164. So, sorry, 344. So not too sharp of a turn to make as we get to the VOR. So we're going to get a bit of normal radio navigation flying in. Flow time from American Airlines regionals to mainline is 8 to 10 years right now. Not worth sitting around and losing seniority for. Oh, I see. Oh, I didn't realise that. I assumed all of the major carriers in America were recruiting. I see. So as Lauren Vick says, that would mean flow. So, okay. So in America, you could either sit in your airline and get that seat on the others. I mean, that's something you don't get in Europe either. There's not so much of that sort of flow. It's more, you know, you can sit in the part of an airline and not ever get included in the main part. We're doing Aldergrove, Adam, because it's a route for Danair, or it was a route, not Belfast City. That's why we're doing this one. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good system to even have the option of just flowing into the mainline airline. Okay, let's get a bit more VS on. We are going to arrive overhead pretty high at this rate. In fact, now we're out of the... still a bit high, actually. Let's just leave it in VS for now. The dash should start off about 2,000 feet per minute. I don't know what 146 would start off. Hello. Come to join us. Dear. I have an unimpressed first officer. What is the problem? Okay, we're not to idle thrust, so it's going to take more. Let's try... I think we're fine. I think we'll go for IS now. There we go. And just bring the power back. Into the clouds we go. Yes. It's my chair squeaking away. Okay, she's decided to just roll around. Hello. Say hello. No. Hello. It's the noisiest cat in the world, and then as soon as you pick her up, total silence whenever she's right by the microphone. Flight directors aren't behaving. That's because we're in sync. Oh well. It was working out. Good, so 38 miles to go. We want to arrive overhead. Without, how many track miles? We said we've got about 18 track miles from overhead the airfield. So that means about 5,000 feet overhead the airfield. Maybe 7,000 should be fine. It's quite a draggy aeroplane, so when you bring the power back, it seems to descend quite well. Doing 2,000 feet per minute, 250 knots. So 5,000 feet overhead, which means we need to lose about 15,000 feet, 15, 30, 45, so we are sitting a little bit high. So I'm going to just press sync, let the speed build up. Ice detected indeed, yes, good points. Let's get the engine anti-ice on. Let's get the airframe ice on. We are below 26,000 feet, so that's all good. Sync off, there we go. Yeah, I don't ever see the ice. I don't know if I've turned it off now. Landing this aircraft is a bit of an interesting one. We're gonna... I haven't landed it for ages, that's my excuse. So the excuse is I haven't done it for ages. We're going to flare... As we cross the threshold, I'm just going to squeeze the speed brake out. I think that's what I did last time. Certainly that's what you do into London City. And then let it settle and then make sure I deploy it fully myself. Got to do that manually. Without getting too distracted, I need to get on those brakes as well. No worries, Adam. Okay, so procedurally we would start this from 4,000 feet at the VOR. 23 miles. Yeah, we're not going to be down below 4 before then. MSAs in this area aren't much higher. So let's go to 4,000 feet. We have a QNH here of 995. It's very low. 996 now, there we go. QNH is set, 4,000 feet, and we must remember to arm it. So I don't think I did. 21 miles to lose 10, we need 30 miles, so yeah, we are high, but that's no problem. We're going to head outbound. Just before we get there, I'll put it into heading mode, set the new course, and fly outbound on that. Still nice and daylight, nice thing of flying at this time of year. So 1840, this was our expected arrival time. 1740 Zulu. Hasn't quite worked, but not far off. That overlay is very impressive.
Swiss 432 is inbound from the southeast. We're estimating overhead the VOR at time 46 for the ILS approach 17.
Ah, they're flying the ILS 17 as well. Grove traffic, Dan Air 222. We are 50 miles southeast of the Belfast VOR, planning to fly the VOR ILS DME for runway 17. So I didn't hear their expected time over the VOR. I also don't know mine. We're not far out. There we go. We've given up on the route. Where's the clear back and gone? There it is. Oh, it doesn't work like that.
Dan Air 222, Swiss 432. Say again your DME, distance Belfast.
We are currently 12 miles southeast of the Belfast VOR.
Roger, I'm behind you. I'm 19 miles.
Roger, we'll head straight outbound and fly the procedure, and we'll be pretty quick about it. So traffic.
No problem. I'll just bring the speed back a little, and I'll be doing the same as you, I believe.
Okay, great. I'll call outbound and inbound. Okay, great.
Roger.
So someone following us in, 9 miles to go. Let's not mess this up then. We do need to slow down a bit. We are high. I'm going to have to give in. Speed rate coming out. It's incredibly, ridiculously powerful. There's the airfield. Okay, look at that nose drop. So what I can do now is I'm going to sink it, and I'm going to, while sinking, I can use the speed brake to bring the speed back. Just because remember the procedure is limited in speed to 210 knots. So let's get the speed back to 210. And then I can leave it in 210. 6 miles to go, so let's put the outbound 344 in the course. 344. And then let's put it into heading with Vorlock arms. Okay. Get that speed back, speed back, speed back. Hugely powerful, that big air brake. It's amazing. So there's 200, there's 210. So now I'm going to press sync again. 10,000 feet, so we are definitely high. Vorlock is armed. 2 miles to go. Let's just start a bit of a turn. Beacon outbounds. So we are now just arriving overhead. The 1172. Yes, good. That is the right one. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to head outbound to 7.1 miles, and we can descend to 2,500 feet as we pass overhead. 2,500 feet is in. Let's just do any more descent. So let's get the PTU on. Pressurization set, briefing complete, landing data plug set, next to the approach checklist. Altimeters we've set, fast seatbelt signs can go on. Oh dear. And then we've got a look in there, and we'll start up the APU.
We've got traffic Swiss 878 Delta.
Hasn't really managed that. Don't know why. Let's sort out the flying first. So 7,000 feet overhead, that's pretty good. 2.3, 2.4, so we are flying away. Ah, it's not armed that, it's going to put it into heading mode. So there we go, let's put the heading plug across and go for lock. Dan Air 222, beacon outbound, Alder Grove, ILS runway 17. Pete Smith, good to see you. I hope the cricket was good. Pretty quick in a 146 particularly, yes, exactly. The Navigraph charts are very accurate. Yeah, very good. They look just like the Jepson charts, so they are spot on. I mean, they're not. You couldn't use them for flying because they're not updated enough. But other than that, yeah, they look positions, like just as you'd expect. Good, so we're 5 miles outbound, at 7.1 I'm going to go to 299 and then swing back around. Can we get any more of this done? APU starting, brake fans put in auto, fuel panel is set, yeah, that's all good. Cabin warned, steep approach we're not doing, red out. Oh yeah, setting the minima. Oh, well, there'll be visuals today, let's not get too excited. Let's put 200 in the DH. Anti-ice.
Belfast traffic, Swiss 432. We're overhead the 8, entering the holding pattern at 5,000 feet. Belfast traffic.
Oh, that's very good. Yeah, so they can't leave that hold now until we are back inbound. So let's go into heading, make our left turn. 299. 4,000 feet, still 210 knots, speed brake coming in. Good. I need to remember to keep the power on myself. So we're now heading on this little leg here. Keeping 210 knots. Why is it leveled off at 4? Too much power, that's right. Power back, that's my mistake. Just want a bit of power on. And let's swing it back round. So we're going to head back in, 199 and set RS. Now you should have timed that to do it properly. Something we never do. If we were going to do that in the Airbus, you just let it do it in LNAV. Much lazier, as you would not be surprised to hear. So we want a heading of 119. Which is about 120. I'm going to keep it descending in. I'm going to swap over to the ILS frequency and I'm going to put the inbound course to 164. So much to do on these older style avionics. It's crazy, really. 164, 164. 1109, 1109, that is all set. Sending, we've got 1,200 feet to go, that's all fine, and we're going to be on an intercept heading for this ILS, which is good. 14 miles out at this height, so we're actually a little bit low, so we don't need to descend any slower than this. And we're at 210 knots, which is pretty reasonable. Evening, Andy, good to see you, no problem at all. Right, we're going to shoot through that a bit, so let's press wall lock, see if it captures that. It's done lock. That's because we just didn't get that turn in time. Should have gone to more of an intercept. Should have gone further outbound, no doubt, on that procedural turn. 3,600 feet, we're climbing a bit, that's no good. Keep going down to 2,500, must arm. Out to harm, must remember to do that every time. Down Air 222 beacon. We are now inbound on the ILS at runway 17 at 13 miles. Right, so that's working out. Glide slope will come down from above. Currently 210 knots. I'm going to put it into vertical speed, please. Yes, there we go. Just a gentle descent. And then I'm going to arm. Let's come back to 200 knots and arm the glide slope. And let's just redo our speeds. So, we are 121 VREF. 121. So we'll go in a little bit faster than that. Minimum clean of about 190. So let's come back to 190. We've got glide slope armed and altitude armed, and it's doing a gentle 300 feet per minute rate of descent. Glide slope should come in from above. There's the airfield. Says nav 1. It is flying the localizer. It's not doing a great job intercepting. Let's get the first stage of flap out. I want it to be within a dot, really. What I might do, let's bully it over there. So I'm going to put it into heading. It's in glide slope mode. Okay, good. Well, I better not fiddle with it again then. You can see that. The problem with the flaps is they create huge amounts of drag on this aeroplane, and then you have to really get the power on, otherwise you'll slow down way too quickly. Yeah, it's acceptable now. We're within the tolerance to descend with the glide slope, certainly. If we go around the 3,000 feet straight ahead to 1,200, then a right turn onto 255. So I'm going to put 3,000 feet in the window. That was strange. Don't know why it did that. Very odd.
2,500.
There's 2,500 feet, 200 feet, or about 100 feet of terrain beneath us, which makes sense. Visual. Let's go to 7 miles out. Let's go to the next stage of flat, which is, I forget the numbers, 24. Is that a bit early? Maybe we'll delay that a little bit. See if we can tick any of this off. I think we did all that. Next was landing, wasn't it? AC pump to auto. AC pump to auto. Then we do landing gear and lights. Let's get those lights on. Okay, 5.8 miles. Let's do the next stage of flap. So, flaps to 24. Gear down. Start feeding that power on now. This could get really embarrassing. About 121 VAP. So I'm still feeding power on and on and on. Flaps 3. We're landing sooner than the food. Yeah, well done. So that fitting with the power. Last stage of flap now. Oh, I should have done a recorder. So that's flaps to full. Got a 54%. That seems about normal. Half 50 in the 50s is the typical approach setting for full flap in most aircraft. Flight recorder is recording. Autogrove traffic down there 222. Final to land runway 17 3 miles. So the traffic above us could go outbound now if they chose.
And Belfast traffic, Swiss 432 is just about to go outbound on the VOR 344.
There you go, there they are.
The ILS 17.
So we are stable at 1,000 feet and we are clear to land. Traffic after us is way after us, so that's good. Okay, taking a lot more power than I thought. Gear down, flat full at this weight, 39 tons. Wow. Goodness me.
Belfast traffic, southwest 1208.
Hence it struggled to even get close to the glide slope. Right, that's not working out. So autopilot off, flight directors off. 123, we've got the speed on. There's our one white back. Okay, happy with that. And now let's try and get our data and rate of descent. Quite slow, probably 600 feet per minute. There she is, all figured.
500.
Nose down, powering back a bit. All very manual trim, no auto trim or anything like that. But it is trimmed a bit slow because we did get slow there. 500 feet per minute's not enough, so 600 to 700 now needed.
Plus 100.
Must remember to deploy the speed brake myself. Getting a bit fast, so powering back.
Minimums.
Still fast, powering back.
Light slow.
Putting the
50,
speed brake out.
40, 30, 20,
Powering back.
10.
Idle. Oh, bit of a bounce.
Belfast traffic.
Let's
southwest
go
1208,
around.
light slope runway 25.
Full power.
80 knots cross-checked.
Speed brakes retracted.
V1.
Too short of a runway to risk a bounce like that. Bring the flaps in a stage. Positive climb. Gear up. Down edge 222, going around from runway 17. Yeah, not convinced about that. You wouldn't want to bounce out the touchdown zone on a short runway like that. So we're going straight ahead initially. 1,200 feet, right turn 255, and then we'll just go and do that procedure again. I'll just radio vector myself over to it though. So 1,200 feet, right turn 255. Taking a lot of nose in trim. Toga thrusts. Gear is not happy though. Let's bring that power back to something a bit more sensible. We'll go for MCT
V2
now.
plus 10. Safe flight speed. Select flap 18.
Go for flaps 18. Climbing to 3,000 feet, 255. Get the flight directors on. Don't want to go faster than 200 really.
FTO, safe flight speed, select to flaps.
Gentle climb. Let's get to above 200 so we can go clean. 255 is around about here. Still climbing, so we're going to out-arm 3,000 feet. Got the flight directors on.
Belfast traffic, Southwest 208 on final runway 25.
Let's get the heading bug round. We'll go for heading, out-arm.
And
Autopilot.
Belfast traffic, Swiss 432 is outbound on the VOR ILS.
Hopefully we can put
runway
nose back down to
17.
3,000s. We can go clean. So the Swiss is outbound now. How's this procedure? Oh, don't do that. There we go. How does this procedure lead us back in? Oh, there we go. 255. Then turn right to the VOR or as directed. Then Air 222. We are returning to the Bravo Echo Lima to hold for the procedural ILS 17. Right, getting fast now. So, heading bug background. Plenty of fuel. We're sitting with about 5 tons, so loads and loads of fuel. Put the Bravo Echo Lima back up, 1172. And we'll just go back in and head outbound again. Hmm, 250, definitely too fast. Yeah, so that, what happened there? Too much energy in the airplane. So as you can see what happened was as we got to the disconnect point, I had too much, the aircraft was slow, none of that power on. When I disconnected the autopilot and then applied a power, I didn't really know what power I was aiming for, so we had too much energy in the airplane, too much power. It was out of trim, it was getting high, and that led to all of that. So the result is, if you bounce a landing like that, or you don't, well, that's why we have to be stable at 1,000 feet, because if you're not, you massively increase your chance of something like that happening. Oh, no, not that way. Come on, round we go. So, currently about 090 is going to be needed to get to the VOR.
Belfast traffic, Swiss 432 turning inbound on the VOR ILS.
Outbound
runway
of
17.
344. Let's set that up here. Slow down again. So 344, powering right back.
Belfast traffic, Southwest 208, clear runway 25. I will hold short runway 17 for your arrival.
I'm currently
Evening, Orbiter in Chief.
13 ILS DME from runway 17.
So I'm using this needle here, so we're 5 miles away.
It's
It's about 100. So
Watch out to where I'm at when I get to runway 17, Southwest 208.
keeping the speed back towards 210. The gear has come up, I think. Yes. Good. Right. Now this is going to be a bit of a ridiculous turn onto the outbound, so I'm going to do that now like this. Myself, 344 is in. We're on 117.2, and I'm going to arm the lock when we're on that side. Down Air 222, heading outbound Bravo Echo Lima for the ILS 17 at Aldergrove. So we're now somewhere here, just flying this turn. Once we're outbound, down to 25. This won't take us long, guys. Apologies for this. But can't bounce halfway down the runway here on a 1900 meter runway at these weights. 25 can go in the window, and I can arm that. I'm going to put in vertical speed and VOR lock, and hopefully it'll intercept that as we head outbounds. There it is. Airplane turning left. VOR is green. Out armed. VS. We're in a gentle descent. All looking good. Oh, no, I'm not connected to Blanter, but I am connected to Pegasus. Which may significantly affect our score there. So traffic beneath us. No, they're not beneath us because they are lower down. So what we're going to do here is, let's climb up. I'm going to disconnect. I should let flight manager's on. You get go around mode. Let's climb to 4,000 feet to get out of the way of that traffic. Not a risk in real life because, of course, air traffic will control this. Okay, we're out of the way then. It's 4. Oh, come on. We climbed. There we go. We already did. Good. Right. Out arm. Heading. Warlock. Out. Are you going to turn them off and on again? Warlock, out arm. Okay, there we go. And then we'll put it back. Traffic's gone beneath and behind us. And put it back in vertical speeds. And we'll start a gentle descent. Right, well, we're much further out than we would normally be. So let's fly our procedural turn. 299. Oh, that is frustrating. It really bugs me when that happens. Seems to still be targeting a nose up on the vertical speeds. Maybe we haven't actually engaged the autopilot. Right, gentle descent. There we go. Right, let's get this sorted out. Heading 299. Put it into heading mode. We're in vertical speed mode without armed autopilots.
Belfast traffic, Swiss 432, 7 miles, ILS 17, final approach.
Now last time this didn't work out, we needed to go a bit further than we did, so let's make sure we do that this time. And then we'll do the inbound 164, and I can swap over to the ILS of 110.9. 109, 109. Sending now to 2,500, which is armed. Okay, we're back in the room. Thanks, Emilio. Glad you like the tutorials. Yeah, I am excited for the A310 Orbiter in Chief. I don't think we've have we flown the 310 on the channel, or is it only the 300 we've flown? Let's put this round to the inbound course, 164. I feel really bad for that Swiss. They were doing the right thing and I got in their way there. If they do ever see this, I can only apologise for that. It's because the go around altitude leaves you at 3, sends you back to the VOR, but that's obviously not good enough if someone's descending this way at 2.5. Right, let's get back grounded in. Let's give that another go. Gonna get it more stabilised this time. Get speed back. Feeling a bit cheeky. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Good to see you here. Evan says, how do you stay orientated to your location relative to the runway in that situation? I would have been lost. So what I'm doing is, well, part of it is knowing what I was doing at the time. So I know now that I'm turning right to do my base or my intercept for the ILS. So I know in my head I'm somewhere out here facing that way. Well, I'm actually facing out directly outbound at the moment. So I'm here
Belfast
doing
traffic,
that turn.
Swiss 432, 3 miles, final approach runway 17, Belfast.
And
500.
there's the red altimeter, that's fine. So yeah, and it's just using the needles really, which is something you learn to do when you're training. That's why you have to do it really, because it's not all, you don't always have that nice navigation display. You have to be able to just work it out from the needles. And in the Airbus too, the navigation displays can fail and you can end up having to just use needles. So now I know the ILS is off to my left and I'm pointing to intercept it. How I got myself to 22 miles, I don't know. We're basically outside there, but we're actually way up here. But we can arm the localizer certainly.
Localizer armed.
There it is, lock white. Glide slope's just starting to come to life. I flew the
Speed checked below
Caledonian
25. Select flaps 18.
310 from
Localizer
Palmer to
captured.
Luton, says Mark. There we go. Maybe we did. Thanks very much. Frank says, I'm lined up to watch you and the Swiss land. Very good. So there's the localizer coming to life. So now I'm pointing at the runway. very inefficient. But once you've done a go around, it is likely to be inefficient. That is, you've lost your chance to be efficient if you had to go around. That's not the concern anymore. All road traffic down there 222, inbound 21 miles out for RS17. Yeah, so you end up getting vectored around like this. Okay, 210 knots. From 2,500 feet, intercepting the glide slope at about 7,500 feet. Sorry, 7.5 miles. It's about 7.5. There's the airfield. We're on the other side of the ILS this time. It seems quite soft at its localizer intercept. It is in lock mode, but it's sort of hanging around, very gently intercepting. Carson, good to see you. Jeff says I've got to get this plane at some point, being too busy with the Phoenix. Indeed, the Phoenix is quite something. But yeah, this one's good fun. Domingo says, off topic, but have you seen the throttle tech? Yeah, so I saw a bit of V1's video. I haven't seen it all. I looked up, was it $1,200 US? I couldn't quite work out what the mini and the normal one are. But like I said, I didn't see the whole thing. I just literally glanced at it just before the stream. Is it new, or has it been around for a while? 15 miles to go. I'm going to stick it 210 knots. You're welcome, Carson. Thanks for coming along. Say so. 1,200 for the full size. Is doing it 1,200. Yeah. So quite an investment. There we go. It's got itself over to the localizer. That's a bit better. Mini doesn't have parking brake. Maybe a few other features. Right. Okay. Fair enough. Jeff says, why buy throttle tech when you can just buy a 320? There you go. Okay. Yeah, I mean, 600, that's quite a lot of money, but I suppose the Thrustmaster is essentially a mini, as it were. Let's have the heading plug ready if we need it to go around. So this time I'm going to leave the flight directors on. It seems to automatically put them into the right modes, so let's leave those on. So yeah, so have any of you used the throttle tech? We're waking everybody up, all in their peaceful countryside residences. And we'll come screaming overhead. So differences this time, let's be actually stable for the last part of the approach. It's no good. We passed 1,000 feet pretty much stable, if a little, starting to get a little bit slow. And that's fine, but if you destabilize after that, it doesn't mean you can just carry on. And as you saw, it didn't pay off in the end. I'm sure we'd have stopped just fine, but yeah. Oh, we've got some traffic out there. There we go. Oh, 700 feet above. So, must remember to arm the glide slope. It's not going to work. Let's start getting the power back. Domingo says, I would buy one, but I think I would need to execute some expert level of hiding the package from my wife. Yes. Right, power to idle.
Glide slope captured.
There's the glide slope.
Established on the ILS.
Let's put 3,000 in, and this time we're going to have it, let's make sure it sticks to the right profile. So first stage of flat. Feeding the power on. 6 miles, let's go gear down. It's actually incredibly fast this time. Fortunately, incredibly draggy aeroplane. No trouble slowing down here.
Speed check to below 180. Select flaps 24.
That's 24. Let's recenter the bugs.
Speed checked below 170. Select flaps 30.
Yes, sir.
All the road traffic is the 483 pushing back from
And flaps to full.
816.
Speed brakes in. Turning the power on. Border road traffic down there 222. Final to land runway 17. Power on, power on, power on. So I reckon it was in the 60s at least, maybe even 70% needed to maintain speed. Talking about this number here, by the way. So let's get this set up properly. 70%. We're on speed. Drifting a little bit slow. Oh, well, that's not helpful. Why did that happen? Sudden drop. Okay, that's back. Although now we're sitting low on the glide slope. Okay, it's interesting. It's interesting. Anyway,
1,000.
gear is down, flaps are out. Autopilot off. Let's fly it up to that glide slope ourselves. It's just, yeah, very lazy with this glide slope. Two whites, two reds. Set of the vertical speed. Power about just over 70%. See if that works for us. That's too much. Come on, 600. That's all we need. This is a very slow lander indeed, yes.
500.
Same thing's happening. Too much energy. Now we've gone through the glide slope. Powering back. 700 feet per minute.
Plus 100. Minimums. Minimums.
It's also an extra short touchdown zone, so I don't mind going past those second white markers a little bit.
Light slow.
But I don't want to bounce halfway down the runway.
50. 40.
Idle.
30. 20.
Speed brake.
10.
Ground idle.
There's the touchdown. Speed brake out.
Brake pressure seen.
Okay, that's more like it. So that's maximum braking.
80 knots.
I didn't deploy them.
Belfast traffic,
There we
ETA
go.
93 Foxtrot.
I did deploy the lever, but it didn't register properly. Okay, so we're down. Let's go and backtrack. Like watching an IRE approach.
Belfast traffic, Swiss 432 crossing runway 17 for the parking ramp.
Oh, they didn't backtrack? Where are they crossing 17? Belfast traffic down there 222, backtracking runway 17 to the parking ramp. See if we see anyone on final. I don't want to send anyone around after the scene we've made. Looks like a bit of a hump on the runway where they cross. Yeah, indeed, yeah. No, it's not a... Let's get the speed brakes in. Let's get the flaps in. Not an easy approach, that one. I hadn't tried it before, and certainly that's a tricky one. Tricky to get just right. I'm not sure I like the 300 landing compared to the 2 and 100. It didn't... I don't know what... I couldn't... It wasn't doing a great job on the glide slope, and then... That's just me making excuses because we didn't have enough power on, I suppose. But yeah, something about trying to land it. Very tricky. Don't know. Oh, someone's landing on 2.5, are they? Oh, yes. Okay, we'll wait for them. Good, cool. Thank you very much. Then a 222, holding short of runway 25, Belfast will go. Good. Well, we have the APU up and running. Let's go for APU air on. I can do that. Let's make sure the APU generator is on.
Belfast traffic, ETA 93 Foxtrot on final runway 25.
APU gen is on. Good. And let's see. So,
Easy 483 taxiing to
air brake spoilers are in.
runway 25.
Flaps are up.
Flight
Flight directors can go off. Yeah, I think leaving them on is the way forwards there. Lights and strobes. So get the landing lights. Leave the runway lights on. I'll leave the strobes on just because we're going to cross the runway. TMS can go off. Weather radar off. Doesn't work anyway. Transponder to TA. Engine anti-ice off. Continuous ignition off. Oh yeah, we did have that on earlier, so that can go off. Engine anti-ice is off. And that is done. Next is the shutdown checklist. There they are. So we are going to I think we can just scoot across Charlie and in a park. Perfect. Yeah, bit of a tailwind for landing on that runway. In your 330. There we go. Brakes release. Let's go. Down there, 222 crossing runway 25 Aldergrove. Strobes are on. That'll be fine. They're over there. Clear on the left. Clear on the right. I won't do the shutdown checklist. I will put the flaps and so on out so that we have it for the replay. Richard says the 146-100 is really agile and not particularly underpowered. Yeah. I suppose that was the original design. Indeed, Papa asks, do you have any recommendations if I love the Otter but I'm looking for something bigger? This is pretty close to what you're asking for there. It's a shame we don't have it. Some more,
Belfast traffic.
A Dash 8 would be great, wouldn't it?
Foxtrot, vacated on Delta, runway 25.
So let's turn off the strobes. Down there to 222 vacated runway 25, vacating into the apron. Okay, so around we go. Let's put the flaps out ready for the replay. There's a Dash 7 coming, but I suspect everyone's waiting for better turboprop code. Oh, I see. Okay, I didn't realise that. Dash 7. Wow, I haven't seen one of those before. Very cool. Thanks, Skyrider, for the subscription. Matthew says, on my last day at the airline I got to fly with a new hire just released from IOE, came from flying FA-18 to the Navy. Safe to say there was no flare at all. Yeah, well that's not far off what I just did. SWS-7. I see, okay. There's more traffic. Wow, it's all going on in Aldergrove today. Busy, busy. We'll go park over there. Oh no, we do need to shut down, don't we, because of the VAMSIS. Oh, we can park here actually. Let's take that one. So let's get the lights off. No, we are going to have to park up and shut down or it's not going to register properly. I just remembered. Oh, come on, we didn't want to stop. So flaps are up, AP is available, lights are off. Perhaps not up. Richard says, I've been reading a lot of stories about 146 RJ crews ignoring the APU and keeping one engine running. Yeah, that is... wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me. You wouldn't probably do it these days just because of the extra fuel burn. The airlines would be less impressed with that. Karma flaps, they are the slowest flaps in the world. There we go. Right, so brakes are set. APU Gen is online, the APU is available. So, time to shut down.
Cabin crew, doors to manual and cross-check.
There we go, pretty cool, it does that automatically.
Easy
Get the
893
chocks in.
Foxtrot cross runway 17 over grove traffic.
And here we are. So let me disconnect from that's it. I can only apologise again to that other pilot. And let me start the recording. And what we'll do then is, let's see, have I done enough for Pegasus? Flight may now be ended. File report. Good stuff. I don't want to know what the vertical speed was for that one. Let us close that up. And let's see if the replay
Cabin
works.
crew, arm doors and cross-check.
So here
Green
was...
ahead.
Yes, yes, yes. So we can complain about that a lot. Let's jump into the outside camera. Oh, it's managed to flap some things. Okay, fair enough. Yes, well, that's probably not far off what it really was. So, too much energy here. Yeah, and you can see that. So there's a bump at the end of the touchdown zone, and then it just disappears off. So we hit, and then it just disappeared away from us. Yeah, so let's see. That is quite a dip. Still, no excuse. So, too much energy. It didn't... Speed brake was out. It does actually settle better than I thought, but then the runway does sink away, and then we don't touch down again until here. Well outside the touchdown zone, by any means. So, we bin it, which is fine. I didn't realise the nose gear stayed up like that. It was always the bump's fault, Tom. Always. And the way it went, had good power for the go-around, actually. I was quite impressed. So pause, then we went around, did all our faffing around, got in the way of the other pilot. I'm so sorry. And then back onto final. And this one, I didn't faff around with the speed brake quite so early. There's a touchdown, settled it on the runway before we got to that bump, and then it did it again there. Should have definitely landed on 2.5, because that's quite hard to prevent, because it touches down and then the runway just disappears under you there. But there we go, made it down. That's all good. Replay is working quite well. So what I'm going to do is put it back onto final. Maybe that's a bit far along, and we'll go into the camera. Right, there we go. So okay, so I'm going to say thank you all so much for coming along. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it. It's great to see you all again. Sorry it's been so long since the last stream, but we will get that 60,000 subscriber stream done soon enough. That's what I'm looking forward to next. And then we've got loads of aircraft we need to fly as well. So I can't guarantee actually that the 60k stream will be the next one. It just depends on how much time we end up with free. But looking forward to it nonetheless. Looking forward to getting the Toliss 340 back in the air, PMG 737. More videos as well coming to the channel soon, so do please subscribe if you'd like to see those. And thank you so much for coming along. Thanks for chatting. Thanks for watching along. Thanks for those very kind donations. Really, really appreciate it. And thanks for the mods for looking after us, of course. So enjoy your weekend. We'll see you soon, and enjoy the replay. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.